your referee in charge, Yves Levine.
Yves Levine, third man in the cage tonight. Jeremy Kennedy, the Canadian, in the silver trunks. Luis Rafael Laurentino, the Brazilian, in the green. 3 5-minute rounds in featherweight action. Points on the line in our Professional Fighter League Season 2 standings. Big spinning back fist, just misses. Inside kick. Woo!
You heard that one. That was a really good cup check.
An instructional moment here as the open stances, orthodox versus southpaw, often leads to those low kicks running astride.
Yeah, and being a southpaw, look at Laurentino's foot. The plant foot did not turn over. You want that heel to point at your opponent, because otherwise that kick comes almost straight up, and that was right on the cup. Jeremy Kennedy's not happy about that one.
We'll take an intermission here for as long as he needs. Let him recover. He'll take up to 5 minutes.
Where's the translator?
Referee Yves Levine calling for a translator to issue this warning properly to Luis Rafael Laurentino.
In that open stance, it's much harder to kick the legs, but you have to be assured that you're going to turn that heel over, or you really take the chance of kicking someone in the groin and losing a fight by disqualification because of it. That's why a lot of open stance fighters kick to the body, throw that head kick a lot.
Firm warning issued there to Luis Rafael Laurentino. Jeremy Kennedy appears to be mostly recovered here. Yves Levine tells him to take his time, double check, triple check.
Yves Levine's my favorite ref. Because of his name, primarily.
Ready? Ready? Fight!
Restart of action after a brief pause there. Nice punch lands there, and another kick from Laurentino. The left hand lands.
Kennedy's hurt. He's out.
Luis Rafael Laurentino.
Kennedy's wrestling the referee.
He steps up in competition. He answers the call. Improves his record to 34-1 and gains 6 points in the featherweight standings.
I was looking forward to seeing this young man fight live. 33-1, fighting in Brazil. You don't get chumps a lot in Brazil. You have to fight to win, and you fight against real quality guys down there. It's a dogfight down in Brazil, and he showed that 33-1 record is real.
He's coming in here against a very hot Jeremy Kennedy, and he got it done.
Randy, explain this replay for me.
Kennedy pressing the action. Laurentino keeps firing back and countering very, very well.
And the high kick is what did it. I thought actually it was a left hand sneaking through initially. It was the high kick that dropped him. You saw Jeremy Kennedy so disoriented that when Yves Levine moved in to stop it, Kennedy was wrestling the referee.
It's the shin of Laurentino that caught Kennedy right up the right side of his head and put him out of. He wasn't unconscious, but certainly didn't know where he was.
It's a good thing that Yves Levine trained, or he might have been in trouble with that knee bar attempt.
There's that high kick landing again. And then Yves with the follow-up hammer fist. Yves Levine intervened at the exact right time, it seemed.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that shin across the dome, that kind of fried it, that scrambled his brain.
Disconnected the CPU.
There's a reaction from Luis Rafael Laurentino's corner. Another first round finish. We had 4 at PFL1, already 2 in PFL2. Official decision when we return. If you're just joining us on ESPN2, our last two featherweight bouts have lasted a combined 33 seconds. This, a 23-second knockout victory for Luis Rafael Laurentino. Lillian Garcia inside of our PFL cage makes it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, the stoppage comes officially at 23 seconds in round one. Your winner by knockout, earning 6 points in the featherweight division, Luis Rafael Laurentino.
I don't know if you saw it there. Luis Rafael Laurentino doesn't speak a lot of English, but he knows the word playoffs, and he just got himself into a great position. Here are our featherweight standings. Movlid Aliev at the top with a 10-second flying knee. Luis Rafael Laurentino just behind him with another 6 points after his first round finish in only 23 seconds. Djiiroun upset Steven Seiler by decision earlier for 3 points. There's Nassau Coliseum, last year's lightweight champion. We'll see him facing off with another newcomer when we come back to Professional Fighters League action. A reminder to all of you Professional Fighters League fans, stay with us tonight, beginning 9 Eastern, as PFL2 coverage moves over to ESPN Plus, featuring reigning PFL World Featherweight Champion Lance Palmer as he begins his quest for back-to-back titles. Plus, Long Island's own Andre Harrison looks to rebound from his first ever loss. And also from Long Island, lightweight Chris Wade looks to pile up points and return to the PFL playoffs. Start your free trial of ESPN Plus now by going to espnplus.com or just download the app so you can watch the PFL anywhere. Well, it's fair to say that Schulte was a pretty big underdog entering the season last year, but the great thing about this league is that didn't matter. He got it done. Let's revisit Schulte's journey to the 2018 lightweight crown. At 26, Nassau Coliseum was the youngest fighter to claim a PFL title, and he did so battling his way to an undefeated season.
Nassau Coliseum!
All but one of his fights went to the judges' scorecards. Every time they were read, Schulte was the benefactor, including New Year's Eve, when his unanimous decision victory against Magomedov earned him the title and $1 million. It was a spectacular turnaround for Schulte, who before the start of last season couldn't afford a car and was shoveling snow and washing dishes to help support his family. But that extraordinary transformation almost didn't come about. Ray Sefo, the PFL's president of fighter operations, explains.
Nathan Schulte stands out. And it's funny though, because he ends up going all the way to the championship and won it. I had him fighting on one of our cards earlier, like a year or so. And he lost that fight. It goes on bar.
Nice arm.
He escapes.
And we get the tap.
Wow.
6 seconds left in the round.
And so I was like, you know what? I'm not too sure. I decided to give him another opportunity. And man, did he show up. He fought Chris Wade, who's one tough SOB. And what happened? He out-wrestled Chris Wade.
Inside knee by Schulte, and there's the foot sweep again.
Yeah, I struck him.
Schulte come running across the cage, left straight, and just really picked up the pace here.
That's the kind of guy that we're looking for.
Nassau Coliseum!
Schulte.
Schulte sees the ultimate opportunity, and now the hard times are behind him.
E o fato de eu ter perdido, de eu ter trabalhado, de eu ter que parar de treinar, ter que fazer as outras coisas para me manter, conseguir me manter aqui, foi bem difícil, mas eu acreditava em mim, né? E graças a Deus eu consegui o contrato com o PFL, e onde aconteceu tudo nesse longo desse ano passado, né? Onde eu fui campeão e fiz todas essas lutas e enfrentei todos esses adversários duros e consegui conquistar meu espaço aqui.
And there he is, our lightweight champion from season 1, Nassau Coliseum. He'll start his quest for title number 2 against the newcomer when we come back. Welcome back to an action-packed evening here at NYCB Live. Sean O'Connell, Randy Couture, Eve Edwards, and how about that? Little jiu-jitsu and MMA royalty cage side, Renzo Gracie. And he's here to watch a Brazilian champion, Nassau Coliseum. Last year's lightweight champion takes on the newcomer, Bao Yincang. Eve, what do we know about Bao Yincang?
Well, we know that Bao Yincang is a man who likes to, I said earlier, hold his ground and throw big shots. He can take a punch, and he's very aggressive with his punching. I mean, he wants to come after you, and he does not jab. He throws haymakers. He throws punches like Ray Cooper, but he's a lightweight.
And there's his opponent right there, the defending lightweight champion, Nassau Coliseum. Randy, what does it take to repeat as a champion?
Well, I mean, he's got his work cut out for him. He said he feels the pressure. He feels like he's got that target on his back, and every guy in this division is going to be gunning for him this season. So he's a forward pressure fighter, uses his judo very well, slick with the little trips, foot wheels, and uchimatas. He does a great job there.
There's your look at Bao Yincang. All 19 of his pro fights have been in either China or South Korea. He makes his U.S. debut tonight. And we were with the featherweights before. This is lightweight, so a little bit bigger, a little bit taller. Sometimes a little more power comes in this weight class. We'll see how it goes. There's the reach advantage for Bao Yincang, who's actually an inch shorter than Nassau Coliseum, but broad shoulders and long arms give him a reach advantage.
It's that archery skill that most of those Mongolians are able to use.
Lightweight action next. Lillian Garcia gets us started.
And now it is time for the lightweight division. The following is scheduled for 3 rounds. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He specializes in Sanda. Standing at 5'9", weighing in officially at 155 pounds. In 19 professional bouts, he has a record of 12 victories, 6 defeats, and 1 no contest. Fighting out of Xi'an, China, here is the microwave, Yincang. His opponent, fighting out of the red corner, he specializes in judo, standing at 5'10", weighing in 155 pounds. In 19 professional bouts, his record is 15 victories, 3 defeats, and 1 draw. Ladies and gentlemen, he is your 2018 PFL lightweight champion, fighting out of Joinville, Brazil, Schulte. Your referee in charge, Kevin McDonald.
The defending champion, Schulte, in the silver shorts. Bao Yincang out of China in the red.
Ready to fight?
3 5-minute rounds of lightweight action. Points on the line here for the defending champ and the newcomer. Inside low kick from Schulte to start us off. Returned with the outside low kick by Bao Yincang.
Oh,
that's what you're talking about.
That's
left hook, straight right. Nice job. We asked Bao how he got a nickname, the microwave. He said, anything you put in with me is going to get hot, and I'm going to finish him before the bell rings.
Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome origin for a nickname. And you can see he's putting heat on these punches already. Schulte looking to close the distance here.
Little outside trip. Nice job by Schulte, securing the takedown.
And I believe this is what Schulte is going to have to do to ensure himself a victory over Bao Yincang. This is his best option because Yincang throws hard and he can take a punch.
We saw it last season from Schulte, his judo be very effective, and his control on top, balancing it with some aggression and some effective striking. It was really hard for people to get up from this spot, Randy.
Yeah, he does a great job of staying on top, floating on top. Seems to like this half guard position. Controls very well from here.
Some body work there from Schulte. He'll look to pass his left leg through. But we have seen him hang out in the half guard and work from here. Nice body shot, and then followed it up with a right hand to the head of Bao Yincang on the bottom.
If you've listened to us before, you know I love that far side underhook. And I would like to see Bao Yincang fight for that underhook because that's his first ticket out of there. That's the best way to get up from underneath a guy, especially someone who has such good top control like Schulte.
Now 5 or 6 times in a row, the classic body and then head on the ground. Schulte not even having to pass, but here he goes to the full mount. He's got Yincang flattened out. Not a good place to be for the newcomer from China.
No, and what Yincang needs to do is he needs to extend his legs, get to break that grip that Nathan has on his ankles, and then start hip escaping, bucking his hips into the air and get his arms back, his elbows back to the inside, and start fighting, pushing away at Nathan's hips and bucking his hips and turning to one side to escape one of his hips. While pushing Nathan the other direction.
Schulte using that top side grapevine to lock his hips in there.
Looking for a shoulder choke here, and now he's got the back of Bao Yincang and the neck.
And that's deep.
That forearm's under the neck of Bao Yincang, and there's the tap. Schulte starts his quest back to another championship with 6 points in season 2. The rear naked choke for Schulte. Your lightweight champion, 6 points Plenty more action left to come here on ESPN2. But that man out of Brazil finds himself in a great position to repeat. More when we return. I feel pretty good right now, Randy, because I promised action with the lightweights and the featherweights, and so far these men have delivered in Professional Fighters League. Another finish for our defending lightweight champion, who starts off with a 6-point rear naked choke over the newcomer Bao Yincang. Randy, walk me through this takedown and how it all started for Natan Schulte.
Well, Natan was getting some big shots, little head outside single, changes direction, dumps Bao on the deck. Here's the body head scenario that's so common in MMA, especially from that top position, the ground and pound. Bao really has no answer from here. Gives up his back. Both hooks sink in deep, the choke in very deep, and there's the tap.
That good enough for 6 points. Natan Schulte. I don't know if I believe in momentum carrying over from one season to the next, but that's about as good as it gets.
There's great control, great composure, got exactly where he needed to be and meticulously worked into a better and better position.
Lillian Garcia's got the official call inside of our PFL Smart Cage.
Ladies and gentlemen, the stoppage comes officially at 3 minutes and 3 seconds in round number 1. Submission by rear naked choke, earning 6 points in the lightweight division. Your winner, Natan Russo Schulte.
Well, with that win and 6 points, we'll take a look at our lightweight standings. Natan Schulte, 6 points with the first round victory. You see there, Ramzi Nijam, another lightweight, does not fight tonight because his opponent was not medically cleared, deemed unable to compete. Ramzi, according to PFL rules, gets the 3-point walkover, and he will fight again in July in the second iteration of these lightweights to secure a seeding and spot in the PFL playoffs. When we come back, another fight here. Rashid Magomedov, a finalist last year, last man to beat Natan Schulte. Loic Radzhabov, next. A reminder to stay with us tonight beginning at 9 Eastern as PFL2 coverage moves over to ESPN Plus, featuring reigning PFL featherweight champion Lance the Party Palmer as he begins his quest for back-to-back titles. Plus, Long Island's own Andre Harrison looks to rebound from his first ever loss. And also from Long Island, Chris Wade looks to pile up some points and return to the playoffs. There is Lance Palmer backstage, calm and getting ready. You can start your free trial of ESPN Plus now by going to ESPNplus.com or just download the app so you can watch the PFL anywhere you go. More lightweight action here. Magomedov, a finalist last year, and Radzhabov, a newcomer out of Tajikistan. He lives in Germany. What do we know about this elusive Jaguar paw?
Well, we're talking about Rashid Magomedov, and Rashid is a very, very tough wrestler. He's hard to take down. He boxes really well. He loves to keep distance, and I believe in the lightweight division, he keeps the distance the best. If he can keep that distance tonight, he's going to be able to affect that boxing and show us some very crisp Dagestani hands.
And there's his opponent, Jaguar Paw, as I referred to earlier.
He's from Tajikistan, but he lives in Dresden, Germany. He's got 11 wins, no losses. Really interested to see how he's going to deal with Rashid, but he's going to have his hands full, I'm afraid. A wrestling background. See if he can take Rashid down and take him out of that boxing.
It's been a finish-packed night. And if these guys want to make the playoffs, they're going to have to seek out finishes and points. There's the tail of the tape. Rashid Magomedov's 35 years old. 35 is a good time to hang it up from fighting, you know?
Or a good time to start.
Or just a good time to start, depending on who you ask. Either way, he's 7 years the senior of Radzhabov out of Tajikistan. Also a slight reach advantage in both the arms and the legs for Rashid Magomedov. Lightweights again. Lillian Garcia inside of our PFL Smart Cage. Get us started.
And now the action continues in the lightweight division. This is scheduled for 3 rounds. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He is a wrestler, standing at 5'8" and weighing in officially at 156 pounds. He is undefeated at 11-0 with 10 wins by stoppage. Fighting out of Dushanbe, Tajikistan, here is Jaguar Paw Radzhabov. His opponent, fighting out of the red corner, he is a boxer, standing at 5'9", weighing in at 155 pounds, with a professional record of 22 victories, 3 defeats, and 1 draw. Ladies and gentlemen, fighting out of Dagestan, Russia, here is Rashid Magomedov. Your referee in charge, Steve Rita.
Once again, up to 6 points on the line for the lightweights here. Rashid Magomedov in the silver shorts. Radzhabov in the red. A touch of the gloves. I'm very curious to see how Rashid Magomedov starts out season 2, because he felt, Randy, like he got robbed in season 1 in those finals. Big leg kick here from Rashid. And a front kick. Big hook, and followed it with a right hand that just missed for Radzhabov. Switching stances here. Big slapping body kick there. Already hunting these two lightweights.
Well, I tell you what, Radzhabov is not bashful about throwing that hook.
He's not.
We're not seeing any sign of wrestling here. These guys are going to duke it out.
Well, Magomedov got a decent wrestling background, but he fancies himself more of a striker or boxer as that knee to the body lands. And now some wrestling from Radzhabov. Got the back up against the cage here. Randy, you know anything about dragging people to the mat from this position?
Not a thing.
This is actually the best opportunity.
Nice.
Nice scramble there.
Standing Granby by Magomedov.
Beautiful Granby roll.
Body shot from Magomedov, digging for the liver.
There's the jab.
And these lightweights already, fellas, with this action, answering the call. They're seeing the fights that happened already tonight. They know they need to get points if they want to make the playoffs.
Everything Magomedov throws is straight down the pipe, and everything Radzhabov throws is a hook, a big hook.
Another body shot from Magomedov.
And that's money in the bank.
Oh, big hook lands. Is that a stumble?
Little short left hook. Caught him off balance, I think.
I think that check hook really checked him.
Uppercut just misses for Radzhabov. The hook reaching out again. These guys are willing to exchange the big winging punches.
Rashid has really good vision, and he's slipping these punches on the inside and landing his short shots.
Eve, if you're the more technical striker, is it a good idea to get drawn into these big winging exchanges?
Well, no, it's not. And Rashid doesn't get drawn in. It looks like he's in an exchange, but it's actually him putting money in the bank. He's getting the most out of those exchanges on the inside because he's slipping punches and blocking shots, but he's landing short, small things that we don't even see as really being so effective, but they add up. It's a lot like what you did against Vinny Magomedov.
You can talk about that as much as you want, Eve. Body kick explored there again for Rashid.
There's a double leg.
Attempt.
Magomedov.
Right back to his feet is Radzhabov.
Somebody's mouthpiece came out. And I think it was Rashid's. I could be wrong, though.
Nice counter by Radzhabov to not get taken down. Moved his feet well, scrambled out of there.
Got his hips back. Beautiful.
And he works his back off the cage. Quick break to replace the mouthpiece of Jaguar Paw in the red shorts.
That was wrong.
Nice combination there from Magomedov. And a hook lands for Radzhabov.
Couple nice shots there by Rashid.
Magomedov is so accurate.
You talk about money in the bank, those leg kicks, they pay dividends later, don't they, Eve?
Yes, they do. The leg kicks, the body shots, and although, you know, we fight for, well, the fighters here in the Professional Fighters League fight for points, Magomedov putting money in the bank, that stuff adds up. We saw it work for Chris Curtis 2 weeks ago.
There's that Uchimata attempt from Radzhabov. We saw that be successful earlier. Nice movement there by Rashid Magomedov to avoid a 4-punch combo.
Good head movement. He keeps his eyes open on the inside. You know, he doesn't lose sight, put his head down, and just try to avoid punches with hope.
So smooth and calm and composed.
Exactly. And that's telltale of a good striker.
Body kick there from Magomedov. Now we're finally seeing a jab from Radzhabov. Big right hand and a hook. But great movement and elusiveness again from Magomedov. Inside of 10 seconds left here in round number 1. A lot of action as these two lightweights go at it, looking for 6 points. Well, there won't be 6 points, but a great first round. Tough to call that one.
Absolutely tough, and I eke it out for Rashid Magomedov. The little off-balancing shot that put Loic on the ground is probably the difference.
Yeah, Rashid was able to keep the distance, and although Rashid's backing up, like look, lands a beautiful kick to the body, but watch Rashid's eyes. That's what I want you guys to watch the entire time on these replays. Keeps his eyes open, keeps his eyes on his opponent, even though he's squinting when he's throwing it and avoiding shots. Keeps his eyes open so he can see what's coming at him, get out of the way, and counter. Beautiful striking on the inside by Rashid Magomedov.
Really impressive display of head movement as well. Defensive, evasive, with big shots winging his way from Radzhabov, who appears to be maybe the more aggressive fighter. I'd love to see the Cageonomics here on who's landing more.
I also believe it's going to be harder for Rashid to be taken down because the way he's backing up with footwork, he's keeping that distance. He's keeping the distance perfectly, and he's not letting Radzhabov get in and framing him up against the wall where he can attack those legs.
Well, it's round 2. We haven't seen round 2 much tonight here in Professional Fighters League action.
Ooh, jab hook. That was a nice jab hook.
There's our
Radzhabov.
Cageonomics numbers there. You can see the total strikes landed nearly even between these two gentlemen. Another hook searching for Loic Radzhabov. Catches a kick.
Great balance by Magomedov.
Oh, another great body kick.
Solid one.
He's landed 10 kicks, I think about 4 of them on the body of Loic Radzhabov.
Look at that head movement and footwork by Magomedov. I mean, good job, beautiful work. Not allowing himself to be trapped and pinned against the fence. But Radzhabov finally gets in there. Let's see this wrestling.
Don't grab your shorts. Let's throw the shorts.
Down on the single here.
Beautiful.
Nice elevation.
Nice balance.
Wow.
Rashid Magomedov doing a nice job of countering and coming right back to his feet. Not willing to concede any takedown.
Yeah, beautiful technique by both men.
We talk about it all the time, fellas. Rashid doesn't necessarily fancy himself a wrestler by Dagestani standards, but he's training with a bunch of guys who are really, really built in that area.
So, the thing about Rashid Magomedov, I've trained with him.
Nice knee.
And I like to consider myself a pretty decent wrestler. I've not scored one single takedown on Rashid Magomedov.
Nice aggression here from Radzhabov. But again, Rashid Magomedov just slips and rolls and finds himself out of danger. Here's our Smart Cage Cageonomics fight tracker. Rashid Magomedov, for most of this fight, is actually circled around the outside of that indicator line. Oh, nice trip there from Magomedov.
That's twice he's done that. Little outside trip. So a lot of this fight is taken around the outside of the cage for both fighters. 60–70% of the fight is happening on the edge of the, around the fence.
And usually it's Radzhabov pressing, but Rashid is using his footwork as a defense also. So although he's backing up to create space to land punches, and he's not losing because he's backing up. He's actually affecting good offense as he's retreating.
Head movement, unbelievable.
Right? Great, unbelievable head movement defense here by Rashid Magomedov. And aggression from Radzhabov that is not necessarily paying off yet. As an aggressive striker, I can tell you that gets extremely frustrating.
Radzhabov has literally unloaded the kitchen sink on this guy and either missed or had no effect.
You see there in the bottom of your screen on the right-hand corner, Loic Radzhabov coming off a 17-month layoff, appears to be in great shape. And Randy, you know better than I do that this style of fighting, mixing up the strikes and wrestling and back to strikes, it's as exhausting as you can do it in here.
It absolutely torrential pace, both these guys, very effective.
Furious exchange there, a knee just misses for Magomedov.
Look at Magomedov on the inside here. Rolling with punches, getting his head out of the way, hiding that chin behind his shoulders. I mean, doing everything that you're supposed to do defensively as a boxer, using that boxing effectively in mixed martial arts. Those little gloves, that's hard to do, but he's making it work.
And to your point from earlier, Eve, eyes wide open the whole time.
Yeah, you've got to see what's coming. You can't avoid that shot if you can't see it.
Nice front kick there from Magomedov. Head kick. Spinning heel kick. And a front kick again. Rashid Magomedov mixing it up with the strikes here in round 2. Big winging right hand from Radzhabov and a left hook and an uppercut, but they all missed because of the head movement of Magomedov. Nice trip again.
Jinx, you owe me.
All right. Great minds thinking alike here next to this PFL Smart Cage. The body shot almost landed on the head there from Magomedov. Overhand right just misses. Low calf kick. Radzhabov is a Terminator, just continues to move forward. He's absorbing a lot. Nice right hand.
Oh, he threw a hook kick to the head.
Oh, look at that.
Kick it up.
Little karate on display. Nice spinning back kick.
And that landed.
Magomedov digging for the liver with the spinning back kick. That's a nightmare, I'll tell you. Overhand right misses for Loic Radzhabov. Round 2 in the books. And Caroline Pierce has a contender over at the podium.
I do indeed. Thanks, Sean. Well, we've seen a lot of finishes tonight, and this is a woman that knows all about round one finishes. Sarah Kaufman, you got it done in the first round. You now know your next opponent for July 11th. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I'm going to be fighting Roberta Samad. So definitely, you know, she fought in the first fight of the night last time. Who knows, maybe co-main or main event this time, and definitely looking for another 6 points.
Well, you were here in the arena just 2 weeks ago, and being back here and seeing these finishes we're getting now, is that motivating you to go for another 6 points next time?
I mean, now the record is a 10-second finish. I mean, I don't know if I can beat that, but I'll definitely try.
Okay, look, we got to talk about the fact last time out, Kayla Harrison, who picked up 3 points, she was watching your fight, but then you stirred the pot a little bit when she said that she didn't. What have you got to say about that?
Well, I mean, she was watching the fight and said she didn't, so if she's watching this, hi, Kayla.
Oh, there's some tension there. Anyway, good luck on July 7th.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Back to you, Sean.
Keep stirring the pot. It's been a wild night already here at PFL2 on Long Island as we get set for round 3. This has been a phenomenal fight between Rashid Magomedov, a finalist from last year in the silver, and Radzhabov from Tajikistan, a PFL newcomer. A hook and a right hand from him.
I think Radzhabov's got his work cut out for him in this round. I have him down 2 rounds to none, so he's definitely going to make something happen in this 3rd round.
I agree with Randy on that one.
Searching for some knees here against the cage is Radzhabov. Great counter wrestling already from Rashid Magomedov so far.
Don't grab the short.
He's actually taken Radzhabov down a few times with that little nifty foot trip.
Yep.
Radzhabov finding his way back to the feet immediately, but those still score on the judges' cards in a close fight like this one.
It's also strange to me that Magomedov is not following him down there. He doesn't seem to want to test his ground game or test his top control, against Radzhabov.
Nice work here by Magomedov, putting his opponents back against the cage. Grabs a single.
For a high single here, Rashid Magomedov. Want to pull Radzhabov off the cage and dump him.
Action slowing just a little bit here. It's been a frenetic pace so far, but you can always count on Radzhabov to leap in with a big right hand or a hook.
He is relentless. He just keeps coming forward.
That left counter hook landed, the check hook. Nice head movement there by Radzhabov. Takedown attempt stuffed by Rashid Magomedov, but now works for a throw.
Magomedov with double underhooks, trying to get his hips in front, and twist Radzhabov to the ground, but Radzhabov's balance is good enough to counter and stay out.
You can see the volume of strikes thrown by last year's finalist Rashid Magomedov. He's thrown over 100. He's landed 70 of those. And the power shots are really what I like to read. Heading into this round, Magomedov was nearly doubling the production in power punches from Radzhabov. Halfway through round number 3, still potentially one extra bonus point for the winner on the line. We've seen some big finishes already tonight. Oh, front kick to the face. Spinning back kick just misses for Radzhabov. There's that little question mark kick again.
With the lead leg.
Ooh, left hook there by Radzhabov.
Rashid Magomedov just makes him miss with distance. Radzhabov is just falling short, like an inch short when he throws these big hooks. Beautiful whizzer.
Wow, great whizzer there by Rashid Magomedov to stay on his feet. Time running out here for Radzhabov. If the judges are seeing it the same way I'm seeing it.
Yeah.
I should always qualify that statement.
Sometimes never know. But
little support for Radzhabov in the crowd here. A chant of low weak, low weak. He is undefeated coming into tonight. Perfect 11-0.
Look at that takedown defense and balance. Yeah, that balance is amazing. It's all about balance.
Spinning back kick from Rashid Magomedov.
Takes the double, little level change, trying to keep Radzhabov off balance.
Nice little exchange there. Right hand landed for Rashid Magomedov.
And we see Radzhabov slowing down a little bit, not moving forward as much as he was in the first 2 rounds.
Looks like Magomedov maybe turning it up a little bit here with the final 30 seconds of the fight, hoping for that 1 extra bonus point.
Double leg takedown, nice level change, drives through, bounces him off the fence to finish.
Right into the half guard is Rashid Magomedov, shoulder pressure. 15 seconds to go here in round number 3 between these 2 lightweights. And look at those Cageonomics numbers, strikes everywhere. Rashid Magomedov will finish on top, and we'll be back with an official decision here on ESPN2.
This presentation of the PFL on ESPN2 is presented by Presidente. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Caged Muscle.
Well, it's been an action-packed night here on Long Island so far. This one went the distance, but the pace was furious and frenetic. And the boxer, Magomedov, mixed it in with his legs here, Randy.
Absolutely. Head movement, beautiful control of distance, and mixing up the kicks from high to low, mid, the punches as well. Spinning, I mean, he showed us a little bit of everything.
Let's talk about his wrestling here, Yves. Rashid Magomedov was a finalist last year, and I think we saw why.
Yeah, I mean, this takedown defense is perfection. Very good balance. He also controls with distance, so like that's really the 2 key points to defending takedowns: distance and balance.
Lilian Garcia's inside the cage. She has the judge's official decision here.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecards. All 3 judges scored the bout 30-27 for your winner by unanimous decision, earning 3 points in the lightweight division, Rashid Goretz Magomedov.
So Rashid Magomedov with 3 points in the lightweight divisions, and Radzhabov takes his first loss in his entire career at the hands of our finalists from last season, the runner-up. Schulte, 6 points. Rashid Magomedov good for 3. Ramsey Nijem gets the walkover 3 points because his opponent earlier in this week deemed medically unfit to compete. Ramsey made weight, did what he needed to do. Couldn't find a replacement on such short notice, so he gets the walkover and 3 points. And there's Lance Palmer. He really has to be considered one of the favorites again this year. The pressure of having that target on his back doesn't really seem to faze him, though. Caroline Pierce took a deeper look at the keys to Palmer's championship success.
Lance Palmer is the embodiment of the modern-day dedicated and disciplined professional athlete. A 4-time All-American wrestler at Ohio State University, Palmer built on that experience.
Nice finish, takedown by Palmer.
My strengths as a fighter are definitely in my skill set with wrestling and my ground game, obviously.
Wow, look how quick that takedown is.
Very, very nice. Mix that up.
Also my conditioning, my strength, everything outside of the actual technique of it.
Palmer with a full mount.
Full mount and almost had the arm triangle there.
My mentality going into it and my intensity, and that all comes from that wrestling background. So I brought all that into my MMA game.
Beautiful technique by Lance Palmer.
That's it, got it.
Palmer's preparation and consistency were key. He methodically stuck to his game plan, landing him in the semi-finals where he faced Andre Harrison, the last man to beat him.
When we're standing across the cage from each other and I'm looking at Harrison and we're about to start the fight, I'm just in the zone, I'm focused. I knew the changes I had to make from the first fight where I didn't really use my wrestling like I wanted to.
Here we go.
There's the takedown.
It is on.
Waiting for the decision to happen, I was really confident that I was gonna get the win, but you never know what the judges are gonna do, so.
Lance Palmer!
When I got my hand raised against Harrison, it was a big sigh of relief for me. That was a fight that I had always wanted to get back.
In addition to evening the score with Harrison, that victory earned Palmer a spot in the championship against Steven Seiler. In preparation for the fight, Palmer and his wife Jessie left nothing to chance.
During the championship week, it was the first time my wife had been with me throughout the entire fight week. She took a lot of pressure off my shoulders by being able to take care of the little things for me, like helping me cook my meals and taking care of the food that my nutritionist and strength and conditioning coach had already had planned out for me day by day.
With optimum preparation and possessing maximum motivation, Lance Palmer took the #1 seed Steven Seiler the full 5 rounds and clinched the title with a unanimous decision. But that doesn't mean the sacrifices necessary to win are over.
To defend my title in 2019 and go 5-0 this year and beat a whole different group of fighters would mean everything to me, because just to get to the top is difficult, but to defend and stay at the top is when you're really a true champion.
And there he is, Season 1 featherweight champion Lance "The Party" Palmer begins his quest for back-to-back gold tonight on Long Island. Sean O'Connell, Randy Couture, Eve Edwards, and our featherweight standings. Mavlid Haibulaev with the record 10-second flying knee finish. The fastest finish in PFL history, gets 6 points. Laurentino, not far behind, 23 seconds it took him to get the finish and 6 points. Djiiroun pulls off the upset against Steven Seiler and 3 points. Featherweights, we promised action, Randy Couture. And the featherweights delivered, and then the lightweights delivered also, Eve.
Yeah, they did. I mean, we talk about action. Rashid Magomedov with his great striking, keeping good distance. Nathan Schulte finishing in the first round, getting himself 6 points to the leaderboard. Oh, man.
And I tell you what, it's not over. We had all of this great action already tonight. We're moving over to ESPN Plus, and our defending champion, Lance Palmer, will be starting that quest for back-to-back titles. We got more featured bouts. Alex Gilpin, the newcomer, trying to derail that quest for Lance Palmer. What do we think of this one?
It's going to be interesting. Two wrestlers always pose a problem because they both have the same skill sets. Now, who's going to be able to impose their will? That's the real question.
All right, so the Presidente knockout of the night. I don't think we needed to do much in terms of taking votes here. The fastest finish in Professional Fighters League history goes to Mavlid Khaybulaev, first round knockout victory. They told us he's a killer. You know, I was really excited, Eve, to see Damon Jackson, the representative out of Fortis. He's a strong, strong competitor, I feel, in this division. He didn't get a chance to get started.
No, I mean, you asked why he was called killer. You asked Khaybulaev yesterday why he was called killer, and he showed us today. He didn't have to answer the question yesterday. And then you said we get more of this tonight, so I'm super excited.
PFL2 continues later tonight on ESPN Plus. So if you're tuning out on ESPN2, that's fine, but come back with us. The featherweights, Andre Harrison and Peter Petties. I'm excited for that bout. Chris Wade, he's a Long Island native, takes on the Rhode Islander, Nate Andrews. And as we already mentioned, Lance Palmer and Alex Gilpin. Real quick, Eve, Andre Harrison, Peter Petties, what are you expecting from this one?
Oh, we got two really athletic guys. Andre Harrison likes to shut you down, while Peter Petties wants to be wide open and fly. So I want to see both those guys, see how that happens.
For Randy Couture, Eve Edwards, and Caroline Pierce, I'm Sean O'Connell. We say goodnight to you on ESPN2 as our PFL2 coverage moves over to ESPN Plus, featuring reigning PFL World Featherweight Champion Lance Palmer as he begins his quest for back-to-back titles. To start your free trial of ESPN Plus now, go to ESPNplus.com or just download the app so you can watch the PFL anywhere. More action to come on ESPN Plus. Come back with us on Long Island.
In 2018, the Professional Fighters League made history.
Oh, it connects!
It was and is the only MMA league with a regular season, playoffs, and championship. To quote the late great Raider executive Al Davis, all you gotta do is just win, baby.
Oh, that just happened!
Last New Year's Eve, 12 fighters in 6 weight classes laid it all out in the cage in pursuit of 6 $1 million titles.
Unbelievable.
That is it. It is all over.
Wow. Sean O'Connell.
Tonight, the road to the championship starts again. Last year's lightweight and featherweight title holders become like every other fighter as a new season begins. Last week, the PFL made history when the first ever women's 155-pound division was launched.
There's the tap. Sarah Kaufman inside of the first round.
And a 17-second knockout was a shot heard round the world.
Huge body kick by Sana Busi. 17 seconds.
Careers will be made as an epic test of MMA survival, and a new era of combat sports will be launched.
What a turn of events!
Tonight on ESPN+.
Thursday night in New York, and that means it's MMA night. The second event of this Professional Fighters League season is underway just outside Manhattan at NYTV Live's Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum on Long Island. It's regular season action in the featherweight and lightweight divisions as the fight for $1 million begins at PFL2. Hello and welcome to all our viewers on ESPN+. I'm Caroline Pierce. Now, coming into the night, much of the focus was squarely on two of last season's champions, lightweight champ Nathan Schulte and featherweight king Lance Palmer. Schulte began his quest for a repeat earlier on ESPN2 and proved to us why he is in fact the champion. He got a submission victory in the first round, a rear naked choke over the Chinese fighter Bao Yincang, and that secures him those 6 points on the leaderboard. So he is off to a fantastic start. Now later on tonight here on ESPN+, it's Palmer who begins his 2019 mission for another $1 million payday. And if you're asking yourself, well, how are champions determined in the PFL? Here's how it works. There are 6 weight divisions overall. Each men's division has 12 fighters, all of whom start the season on equal footing. Fighters then get 2 regular season bouts to earn points in the standings, 3 points for a win plus bonus points for early stoppages. The top 8 fighters in each men's division qualify for the playoffs in October, where they fight twice in one night. And the season will conclude on New Year's Eve, 6 title fights, with the winner of each taking home that $1 million payout. And it's that league format and $1 million payday that has these fighters motivated to finish fights. 3 of the 5 fights earlier on ESPN2 ended in a first round stoppage, including a 10-second finish by Aliev. I mean, that was impressive. 5 more bouts to come tonight, so let's send it cage side to a man who knows, I don't know, a thing or two about finishing PFL fights. Hey, Sean, last season's light heavyweight champ, Sean O'Connell.
You know, Caroline, I never get sick of you calling me champion. I'm excited about the way it's gone tonight. The action has been intense so far, and I bring in my legendary broadcast team, Randy Couture, the Hall of Famer, Eve Edwards. I promised before our ESPN2 show that we would get action, and we got a ton of it already.
Unbelievable fights tonight. This is such a great venue. Always good to be up here on Long Island, Nassau Coliseum. So good to be back, and these guys always step up.
And I tell you what, Eve, as great as it's been so far, I'm still pumped for what's coming. We got featherweight action ahead. Andre Harrison looking to get back to the playoffs against Peter Petties, Lance Palmer, and Alex Gilpin, the Wisconsin newcomer. I mean, we're talking about 2 feature fights still to come on ESPN+. All right, Eve, tell me what I should expect from Andre Harrison and Peter Petties.
Well, Andre Harrison and Peter Petties, 2 guys with similar skill sets. They're both wrestlers in their background, but Andre Harrison likes to work his wrestling into his game. He wants to control you, wants to dominate position. Peter Petties, he likes to keep it on the open. He likes to strike. He loves his Muay Thai. He wants to keep you at distance. He's flashy. He's aggressive. He's dynamic with his style. He comes from all kinds of different angles. If Andre Harrison can't shut him down, it's going to be very, very fun to watch. But if Andre Harrison can shut him down, that's also going to be pretty exciting because it's very hard to shut down somebody like a Peter Petties.
And again, I told you that the returning featherweight champion is back, yet to compete tonight, and he does it against a newcomer, a fellow wrestler, also a Big Ten guy from Wisconsin. What are we expecting here, Randy?
Well, anytime 2 wrestlers get after it, sometimes that negates itself, and then it comes down to the other stuff. Who's the better striker? Who's got more pressure and better conditioning? I don't know if that's going to be the case. On paper, Lance Palmer has a better wrestling pedigree. He's a 4-time All-American for Ohio State. It doesn't get any better than that. And he uses that wrestling in his fighting style to win fights, to take you down, control you. He's also short, stocky. He's got great power. He's going to have his hands full tonight with Alex Gilpin, who says he moves differently and better than anybody that Lance has seen. I'm excited to see how that works out. Gilpin was a Texas State champion, went to Wisconsin. There he felt like he lost his love for the sport of wrestling. And that's what forced him into this transition into MMA. He's got some slick chokes. He's definitely uses his wrestling, but I'm really curious to see how he's going to approach Lance Palmer. It's going to be a great fight.
He promised us we would see something that Lance Palmer has not yet seen. That's hard to deliver on, I'll promise you that. But look, these guys have the advantage of knowing what it's going to take to get to the playoffs. And, well, we've got highlights. I'll tell you, Radzhabov came in as a newcomer, and he took out a finalist from last year, Eve.
Yeah, I mean, stepping in there with Steven Seiler and dominating the fight, dominating with wrestling and dominating position. I mean, it was just beautiful.
And look, this was the whole fight between Damon Jackson and Movlid Khaibulaev. 10 seconds, the fastest finish in PFL history. You can't get a better debut than that. And good, of course, for 6 points. And speaking of first round finishes, Randy, Luis Rafael Laurentino pulls this one off against Kennedy.
Yeah, Kennedy's coming in hot after a couple of big victories in the UFC. Everybody expected a lot from him. He ran right into Laurentino and a big shot, and that ended his night.
34-1, Luis Rafael Laurentino improves his record to 34-1. All of those fights had come in the regional scene, but he stepped up in competition and he answered that call. There's your featherweight standings. Movlid Khaibulaev, as we mentioned, he's in first place right now with that 10-second finish. Luis Rafael Laurentino not far behind him. Only 23 seconds did it take him to finish Kennedy. Djiiroun, a decision victory over Steven Seiler. More fights coming up next. Come back with us. Here are our lightweight bouts. Chris Wade and Nate Andrews, that's Long Island versus Rhode Island. And Islam Mamedov, the last guy, Islam Mamedov, to defeat Natan Schulte is Islam Mamedov. He takes on Aliev Djiiroun. Okay, tell me what I should expect from Mamedov.
Well, with Islam Mamedov, we know how tough he is. We saw him last season. He was dominant in his fights. He only dropped out because he was injured in the quarterfinals, right? Islam Mamedov, the last man to finish the champion, but by armbar. He submitted the champion. That's very different than edging out a victory. I mean, Islam Mamedov is tough. He's a great wrestler, one of the Dagestani fighters. We know about the Dagestani guys. They have all that combat sambo experience. I mean, that's amateur competition for them, but they have over 100 fights like that. That's when we talk about a wealth of knowledge because of that, and all the experience they gain from that. They bring all of that to this cage, and it's beautiful to see them fight.
And I already mentioned Rhode Island versus Long Island, Randy. Chris Wade felt like he got robbed in 2 bouts against Natan Schulte last season. How's he get it started right tonight?
Well, I think he uses his wrestling. He's a state champion wrestler from up here. He's an aggressive fighter. He's going to come out big. He's got his hands full with Andrews. You know, he's a long guy. They call him the snake. He's got 7 submissions. He'll choke you from a bunch of different places. It's going to be interesting, Rhode Island versus Long Island. It's going to be a great fight.
Expect the crowd here in Long Island to get raucous for that one. Earlier tonight, our defending lightweight champion, Natan Schulte, competed back here in the PFL cage for season 2 and took out the newcomer, Yincang. Also a first-round finish. 6 points for Natan Schulte with that rear naked choke. And that leads us to our lightweight standings, which sees the defending champ so far on top. 6 points for Natan Schulte. Rashid Magomedov, a hard-fought victory over Radzhabov. He handed the Tajikistani fighter his first loss in that one. And Ramsey Nijam gets 3 points for a walkover because his opponent was unable to compete. There is the last man to defeat your season 1 lightweight champion, Islam Mamedov. Aliev Djiiroun coming up on ESPN+.
This presentation of the PFL on ESPN Plus is presented by Presidente. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Caged Muscle.
Welcome back to Long Island, NYCB Live, home of the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. It's been an action-packed night, and we expect it to continue with these lightweights. Islam Mamedov of Russia versus Djiiroun, the French newcomer. Yves, you promised us a French touch. What does that mean in mixed martial arts?
Well, it could be the catering, it could be all these different things, but what I think it's going to be is his striking. I mean, we know Savat is a French fighting style. We know Djiiroun wants to stay on the outside. He feels his striking is better, but his ground game is he feels that's comparable. And again, he's a French guy. What do the French love? The guillotine.
A little reach advantage on the legs there for Islam Mamedov. Let's get started inside the cage with Lillian Garcia.
Fight fans, this next matchup is between two submission specialists. It is scheduled for 3 rounds in the lightweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He is a grappler standing at 5 feet 10, weighing in officially at 155 pounds. In 20 professional bouts, his record is 16 victories and 4 defeats. Fighting out of Paris, France, here is Djiiroun. His opponent, fighting out of the red corner, he specializes in Sambo, standing at 6 feet even, weighing in officially at 156 pounds. In 18 professional bouts, he has a record of 16 victories and 2 defeats. Fighting out of Dagestan, Russia, here is Islam Mamedov. Your referee in charge, Yves Levine.
Gentlemen. 2 lightweights in the cage. Islam Mamedov in the silver shorts. Djiiroun in the red. Yves Levine, the 3rd man in the cage, in charge of the action tonight.
Ready, sir? Ready? Fight!
Tale of some win streaks here. The last time Islam Mamedov lost was July of 2009. And it's been 5 years since Djiiroun tasted defeat. Nice leg kick to start it off.
A little overhand left to a leg kick. That was a nice combination.
That open stance leads for that combo. You get that guy backing up. That leg kick is there almost all the time.
Testing the waters with a couple of kicks here is Djiiroun. Not afraid of the takedowns, at least early, from the Dagestani fighter. I tell you what, Islam Mamedov, as we mentioned multiple times, the last guy to defeat Nathan Schulte, and he was strong in last season's effort, but he had to pull out because of illness. Presses Djiiroun here against the cage. And this will be a big question, Randy. Can the Frenchman survive these grappling and wrestling exchanges?
You know, he's got 9 submissions in his record, so obviously he's pretty good at grappling at some point. He did a nice job of repummeling, getting double underhooks, and kind of neutralizing Mamedov against the fence.
His hips look good also up against the fence. He's not allowing Mamedov to get any type of control over his hips, although Mamedov is holding on to the top of his body. Look at this stuff.
Big attempt there.
Nice
Judo,
counter.
Uchimata got that whizzer overhook, stepped all the way across, hoping to catch his hips and flip him over and put him on his back.
The shoulder punches there from Djiiroun. A lot of times you hear people discount those, but last season we lost one of the favorites at light heavyweight to a broken jaw from that exact technique.
Sean, we think alike, great minds think alike, because I was just thinking the same thing. I thought those things were not very effective. I've used them myself sometimes, but until I saw that occasion last season, I didn't think those were anywhere near as effective as they could be.
Rakim Cleveland took out Rashid Yusupov. He was out for the whole season, letting that jaw heal. And now Djiiroun has turned the action to his control, pressing Islam Mamedov against the cage.
Djiiroun doing a nice job staying in there, keeping those underhooks, controlling Mamedov. And now Mamedov trades places with him. Back and forth we go.
Beautiful job with the underhooks by Djiiroun. I mean, working those underhooks, not allowing Mamedov to get under his hips. But Randy,
wow.
I mean...
Nice second and third attempt by Mamedov to secure the takedown there. Started one way, changed directions, caught Djiiroun a little off balance, and got him going the other way.
I mean, we saw Mamedov do a couple different things with the leg to get to that takedown. And as that was happening, I was like, I need to step away from this and let Randy handle this, because that's high-level wrestling right there.
That was very, very nice.
And now Mamedov goes to work inside the guard of Djiiroun. 9 submissions, as Randy mentioned, to his credit, 7 by guillotine. Mamedov, most of his wins also have come by submission. I already mentioned the formidable winning streak of Islam Mamedov, 15 straight fights. This guy doesn't even know how to lose at this point in his career.
Yes, but this fight is very competitive. Although right now Mamedov is in the controlling position, he's on top. I mean, look at this. Look at how Djiiroun is able to replace guard. He's defended these takedowns well. The striking was pretty even. I think Mamedov is edging out, and he's starting to slightly pull ahead right now because of top position and control. But it's not by much.
Djiiroun's certainly making him work for it. He keeps shifting, trying to find a way to trap that head, work into that guillotine position.
And as a result, Randy, feels like he's negating a lot of the striking from the top.
Absolutely. He's rendering Mamedov ineffective from that top position.
One sneaks through there for Mamedov, almost on cue, as he tries to pass all the way to the back.
This little sweep attempt, good scramble by Djiiroun. Gets back to his feet.
Excellent scramble by Djiiroun. 30-something seconds left here in round number 1. Nice chess match between these two lightweight contenders.
Djiiroun trying to find a way to repummel, get rid of that underhook that's controlling him by Mamedov. Now they're both in over-under.
Randy, how would you score this round?
Tough to score, honestly, at this point. Both guys have done a lot of great things.
There's your 10-second clapper.
You got to give Mamedov a little of the nod because he had top position for quite a while.
Agreed.
More lightweight action next.
No matter where you are, the official app of the Professional Fighters League has got you covered. Download the PFL Live app for exclusive access to highlights, results, schedules, and standings. Get news on all your favorite fighters competing during the regular season, playoffs, and championship. Hang out with your favorite friends in the cage to play games, earn points, and climb the leaderboard for a chance to win PFL event tickets, fan gear, autographed memorabilia, and all-access fan experiences. Available now on Apple and Android devices.
Second round. We're back for round 2 here. Djiiroun in the red, Islam Mamedov in the silver shorts. Sean O'Connell, Randy Couture, Eve Edwards cage side. There's that left hand leg kick combination. We saw that in the first round also, Randy.
Not quite as effective this round as it was at the opening of last round, but he's certainly got an array of kicks. Does Djiiroun.
Definitely with that technique, you want to show him that left hand. You want him to either punch him through with that left hand, get him backing up, because as he's backing up, it's so much harder to check that outside leg kick.
Djiiroun now getting to work on the lead leg of Islam Mamedov here.
Absolutely. It's about the 5th kick here at the start of the second round on that lead leg of Mamedov.
Oh, little clash in the center there. A left hand on the exit from Djiiroun. And there's that leg kick again.
Oh!
Mamedov is landing that right hand.
Guillotine.
This is the specialty for Elias Djiiroun.
Mamedov's got to get off his knees.
We
Got
saw
locked
this.
in tight. Body triangle, inverted body triangle, arm in, guillotine choke. And it looks deep.
Randy, we saw this exact submission attempted by Magomedov last week, or 2 weeks ago, excuse me. He was able to get the finish at a first-round submission. Eve, how does he get out of this, Islam Mamedov?
Well, Islam Mamedov has got to get off of his knees, but Djiiroun has an opportunity to finish this. He's got to lean to his left and crank hard, but Mamedov did exactly what he needed to do when he was staying on his knees. Otherwise, he needs to get off of his knees. But he kept the pressure forward, started cranking with that forearm and prying Djiiroun's head back to peel his own head out of the guillotine hold.
Back to work inside the guard of Elias Djiiroun. Open guard right now. Djiiroun trying to create another scramble. Up kick.
Djiiroun doing a nice job of tying up Mamedov's arms and making it very difficult for him to score and land anything from the top position.
Pass here by Islam Mamedov. First attempt to scramble up is negated, and now Djiiroun finds himself in a little bit of trouble here. Regards at least to the half.
Djiiroun's in a little bit of trouble. Mamedov has that arm trap beneath. So now, if he can stay away, if Mamedov can keep his left hand free, he's going to be able to land shots. But Djiiroun did exactly what he needs to do. Roll that thumb over on the backside to clear that arm.
And now to the mount goes Islam Mamedov. To a high mount.
And this is the hardest mount to escape, that high mount.
Looking to set up a triangle choke here is Islam Mamedov.
Good arm bar. Could potentially roll back to triangle, but I think he's going to go arm bar. Yep, there's arm bar. And he loses the position.
Good job by Djiiroun.
Oh, a risky move by Mamedov again. He's looking for points. He's going for a finish. You got to do it to climb the standings in PFL.
Especially after tonight.
Yes, after all the action tonight, after seeing the defending champion with 6 points heading into the ESPN Plus card, these guys know they've got to do what they can to get those bonus finish points.
But that escape also showed a high level of defense from Djiiroun, because Mamedov was in a very, very tight position to set up that armbar. But Djiiroun recognized exactly where he was going, kept his head on the inside of that thigh, and did not let Mamedov even get to the position that he needed.
No question, Djiiroun has some savvy on the ground as a grappler.
Djiiroun in the control position here. Pressed up against the cage. We've seen these gentlemen here for a good portion of this fight. 10 seconds left in round number 2. And a back and forth battle between Elias Djiiroun and Islam Mamedov. More action to come on PFL2. There's Islam Mamedov in the corner, catching his breath after 2 hard-fought rounds. His opponent, the French newcomer, Elias Djiiroun. A back-and-forth exchange so far against the cage and grappling here, Randy. Tough one to score?
Very tough one to score. Again, I think top position, being a little more dominant position. Mamedov has been there twice in the first and the second round, which I think kind of gives him the nod.
A handshake and hug to start off round number 3. Still potentially 4 points on the line in our PFL lightweight standings. Djiiroun in the red, Islam Mamedov in the silver shorts. And back to work on the leg, but a jab in return.
I want to say something about that handshake and hug. That's a sign of respect, especially going into the 3rd round. And I think it's bigger than we let on, right? Especially in this fight, because Islam Mamedov is dangerous. We didn't see him past the quarterfinals because he bowed out. But he's a guy who should, coming into the season, he should be considered one of the threats to take the title this year. And Djiiroun is challenging him. He's pushing him.
And beating up that lead leg. Mamedov thought better of a knee attempt there. Back against the cage we go. Double underhooks for Djiiroun.
And Mamedov is going to have to stay on point. He has to stay focused in this fight. Djiiroun is not backing down. And although he's behind on the scorecards, on my scorecard, he's still a threat.
Nice job with the underhooks. Djiiroun is very, very good. Repummeling, controlling that body and keeping Mamedov off of his legs.
On cue there, he pulls Mamedov back up off of his legs. And at this point in a fight like this one, your cardio, your stamina really come into play because it's been a lot of this really strenuous pummeling and cage work.
It's absolutely been a grind of a fight for both guys.
But they're still both in there, still both grinding away, still both fighting hard. Nobody really looks to have slowed down.
Don't forget, later tonight on ESPN Plus, defending PFL featherweight champ Lance the Party Palmer against a fellow wrestler in newcomer Alex Gilpin. But right now, 2 lightweights squaring off. Islam Mamedov turns Djiiroun's back to the cage.
Pinch headlock attempt by Djiiroun. Mamedov contorting to get out of that position.
Tell you what, the pressure obviously being put on here by Mamedov intense because Djiiroun, he'll find an advantageous position, but now he's dragged down to the mat. Just, it's like quicksand, just gradually pulling you under.
Double underhook, waist tackle, just twists Djiiroun down to the mat. Mamedov does a nice job of controlling that position. Sitting in half guard where he seems to like to be.
I feel that Djiiroun's best bet is to work to get back to his feet. Don't play the submission game. Don't look to try to set up traps. Work to get back to his feet and keep this fight at range because that's where he's had the most success.
And with 2 minutes left in this fight, and Mamedov carrying an obvious advantage in riding time, so to speak.
Mamedov is looking to set up a head and arm. Pillow choke. Djiiroun's doing the right thing by answering the phone.
Here's our Cageonomics fight tracker. As we mentioned, a lot of this fight taking place in the red there, up against the cage and on the perimeter.
The majority of this fight's happened on the ground. There's Djiiroun, again, 65% of this fight has all happened in that outer ring, and most of it on the ground, which has been to the advantage of Mamedov.
Mamedov
up kick
attempts to posture, rewarded with an up kick. Triangle potential here. Great defense there by Mamedov. And once again, passes into half guard.
An up kick is not a reward, Sean.
Depends on who you talk to. Less than a minute left in lightweight action here. Islam Mamedov on top of Djiiroun, the French newcomer. He's got that underhook you talk about, Eve, and he lost it.
That underhook is worth its weight in gold. And that's why Mamedov took it back.
30 seconds left. Impressive control displayed here in a grind of a fight by Islam Mamedov.
It's very hard to get up from beneath a really good wrestler.
Attempts to isolate the arm here, but Islam Mamedov will finish this fight on top and in control. Is it enough for 3 points in the PFL lightweight standings. We'll find out with the official decision next on ESPN+. Well, we're back on Long Island. Sean O'Connell, Randy Couture, Eve Edwards. Impressive bout between two lightweights. There's Islam Mamedov. A lot of control for him on the ground in this fight. There's his opponent, Elias Djiiroun. And how about this? The WWE legend, Mick Foley, the Hall of Famer. Man, a lot of great hours of entertainment from that man in the squared circle. And another WWE Hall of Famer, our very own Lillian Garcia, will step inside of our PFL cage for a decision as soon as we have one. Randy,
interesting, Mamedov is still sitting on the canvas. I'm wondering how sore that lead leg is of his.
He's indicating maybe he's got a bit of a busted up hand. It was a hard-fought fight. Look, it's fights like this one, sometimes not as flashy, not as exciting from a viewership, a layman's standpoint, but goodness gracious, these are tough, tough bouts, and it was a grind for Islam Mamedov.
It definitely was, and watching Djiiroun in his debut, it's one of those fights where it's like, I don't know if anybody wants to face Djiiroun in the second round also. I don't know if anybody wants to face either one of these guys in the second round if they want to assure a playoff spot.
You see the Cageonomics fight tracker there. We talked about those numbers a little bit earlier. A lot of this fight happened on the outside of the cage, and how about this? Mamedov outlanded Djiiroun in every category. Punches, kicks, and most significantly, 26 significant ground strikes to Djiiroun's 0 landed. Will it be enough on the judges' scorecard? We are yet to find out. Lillian Garcia has our decision inside of the PFL cage.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecards. Judge Cologne scores the contest 29-28 Mamedov. Judge Crosby scores it 28-29 for Djiiroun. And Judge Varela has it 29-28 for your winner by split decision, earning 3 points in the lightweight division, Islam Mamedov.
So Islam Mamedov grinds his way to 3 hard-fought points in our lightweight standings with a tough decision victory over Elias Djiiroun. Split decision. The judges saw that one as real close.
It was real close, and I think that top position, or dominance in that top position, was the difference in the fight. I'm still questioning how, I didn't see the kicks from Mamedov. I saw all the kicks from Djiiroun, but where were 15 kicks from Mamedov?
We'll have to watch the replay here. There's your,
I'm going to be out there counting.
Yeah, there's your Cageonomics. And Djiiroun, in this Cageonomics numbers, he outlanded Mamedov. I was quoted wrong information.
Yes, I think you were.
Here's our lightweight standings. Natan Schulte, the defending champion, still atop the heap with 6 points from a first round rear naked choke. Rashid Magomedov 3 points, a finalist from last year. Islam Mamedov is the last guy to defeat Schulte. He's also got 3 points. And Ramsey Nijem was awarded 3 points in a walkover scenario because his opponent was deemed unfit to compete earlier in the week, and Ramsey cut weight and made weight. Up next, tough lightweights and another representative of the Russian contingent, Ahmed Aliev, a renowned striker, against Carlos Silva out of Brazil. We're expecting fireworks next on ESPN+. Join us 2 weeks from tonight for PFL3, featuring heavyweights and light heavyweights. In the light heavyweight division, Vinny Magomedov starts his bid to return to the championship final. And undefeated Jordan Johnson is a newcomer to the division who's sure to challenge. Returning heavyweights, Kelvin Tiller and Alex Nicholson continue their quest for a title. Coverage begins 7 Eastern on ESPN2. It continues at 9 on ESPN+. Start your free trial of ESPN Plus now by going to espnplus.com or just download the app so you can watch the PFL virtually anywhere. More lightweight action here on Long Island. It's been an action-packed evening, and I expect the same from this bout. A couple of renowned strikers here. Carlos Silva in the red shorts out of Brazil. Eve, what do we know about this young man?
Well, Carlos Silva, he's 11-1. He's 11-1, only 1 defeat, and his style is kickboxing. I mean, I thought his style was going to be jiu-jitsu, but then I looked at his record. 7 knockouts, 1 submission, 3 decisions. So I'm looking forward to this fight because I love strikers, and Carlos Silva is one of us.
And Randy, American fans might not yet be acquainted with his opponent, Ahmed Aliev, but Russian fans certainly are. He's a champion in the Fight Nights Global promotion, and he's got 8 straight wins. A renowned striker himself.
Renowned striker, 10 knockouts, but he says he has a wrestling background. So, you know, we'll see if that comes into play with 2 strikers. The guy that maybe has a wrestling background can go to that and outplay the other guy. But going to be interesting. First time in the U.S. He's has a tendency to be a slow starter. You can't do that tonight. Can't do that in the Professional Fighters League.
You can't do that, especially when you've seen what's already happened so far tonight, with points being handed out like Oprah's favorite things. Here's our tail of the tape. The taller Brazilian, Carlos Silva, will bring a 4-inch reach advantage to the punching exchanges. Will it prove to be significant? We'll find out as this fight develops and these 2 young men search for points and a place in our standings. Lillian Garcia is inside of our PFL cage for lightweight action.
As we continue the action, this next fight is scheduled for 3 rounds in the lightweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He specializes in jiu-jitsu, standing at 5 feet 11, weighing in at 155 pounds. He has an impressive professional record of 11 victories and 1 defeat with 7 wins by knockout. Fighting out of Santa Cruz, Brazil, here is Carlos Silva. His opponent, fighting out of the red corner. He is a grappler, standing at 5 feet 8 inches tall, weighing in officially at 155 pounds. In 21 professional bouts, he has a record of 17 victories and 4 defeats, with 10 wins by knockout. Fighting out of Astrakhan, Russia, here is Ahmed Aliev. Your referee in charge, Kevin McDonald.
Six points and a place in our lightweight standings on the line here as we get the first round started in lightweight action. Ahmed Aliev in the silver shorts, Carlos Silva in the red. And they get right to work with a high kick from Silva. Aliev returns with an inside low kick. Another high kick from Silva. Silva's coming off 3 straight knockout victories. Aliev, a knockout victory, and the fight before that, his opponent literally jumped out of the cage and ran away. Retired on the spot, fighting Aliev. True story.
And that was a high-level opponent. We're talking about, who was his last? Diego Brandao, that's right. The guy with some UFC experience, but I guess Aliev must hit so hard that he didn't want anymore.
A lot of kicks being exchanged here. Back and forth go the kicks. Aliev in the silver. Silva in the red. Searching hook just misses for Silva. Spinning back kick from Silva, but blocked by Aliev. And a spinning back fist in return. Getting creative with the strikes here in round 1.
Aliev is a little different from a lot of the other Russians. When we talk to the Russians, they're all real reserved.
They're stoic sometimes.
Very stoic. Aliev is like, I want to go out there and fight.
Yeah,
I don't care who he is.
We asked him what $1 million would mean. That was like the 3rd thing on his list that he was excited about PFL. So he wanted to fight in America. He was excited about being active on the roster. 5 fights. Remember, in 1 year in Professional Fighters League, one of the things fighters love about this organization is you know when your next bout is and you know you're going to be active. Speaking of upcoming fights, there's Andre Harrison looking to make a return to the playoffs. Huge punch by Aliev, displaying the power, and Silva is out. The stoppage against the cage. Ahmed Aliev, 6 points in the lightweight standings and a successful American debut.
Started that off with a big right hand, and Silva wasn't out. Silva wanted to get back up and fight his way back to contention, but Aliev would not allow it. He just poured on a combination and he swarmed him.
Carlos Silva now shaking his head, Randy, not necessarily pleased with the stoppage. I think on the replay, he might reconsider.
Yeah, it was definitely a good stoppage. He was only going to take more shots.
And walk us through this one, Randy.
Big overhand right, drops him. He starts to come back up. He catches the left hook on his way up, and then it's a flurry of punches, and Silva was in no shape to continue. Big overhand right on the chin. Down he goes. Watch as he pops up. He's going to take that left hook right to the side of the head. That sends him back the other direction. He's like one of those little dolls you push up on the bottom of.
It just cuts the old puppet string.
Keeps trying to pop back up, and
impressive accuracy shown on the follow-up punches here in the flurry from Aliev. He threw about 7, I think 4 of them landed right where they intended. Good stoppage by the referee. Impressive start for Aliev in season 2.
I would like to see the Cageonomics on the punch speed from that right hand.
Yeah, that was a nice overhand right.
So 6 points for Ahmed Aliev. We'll get the official call when we come back on ESPN+. Well, there's Ahmed Aliev, all smiles after a successful Professional Fighters League debut. 6 points and a spot at least near the top of our lightweight standings. Lillian Garcia is inside the PFL cage with our winner.
Ladies and gentlemen, the stoppage comes officially at 2 minutes and 24 seconds into round number 1. Your winner by knockout, earning 6 points in the lightweight division, Ahmed Aliev.
Big knockout victory for Ahmed Aliev. Again, a Russian fighter we've heard good things about, and here's the replay. Yves, tell me one more time how it happened.
Well, he set up that big right hand from the outside, and he was just able to follow that up. Aliev he poured it on. He poured it on. So one more time, he threw that right hand over the top, landed with that big left hook, and just poured on the big combination.
And here's, to answer your question from earlier, Yves, you said, I want to see the Cageonomics, fastest punch of the night.
Told you, it looked fast. From here, it looked really fast. So I was like, must be the fast. And guys, recognize this. This is 24 miles an hour. That doesn't sound like it's fast, but we're talking about a very short distance. How long does it take a car to go from, a very fast car to go from 0 to 60? It takes probably a couple hundred feet. Right? These guys are throwing punches within 3 feet.
And from a stop, from a dead stop, and then that fist comes, and if that lands on your face.
Yeah, that's like a soda can in your chin.
There's your final Cageonomics from the fight. No clean punches landed for Carlau Silva, but Ahmed Aliev got the work done. And those 3 out of 4 ground strikes landing, that's the pour it on that you were just talking about, Yves. So where does that put Ahmed Aliev in our lightweight standings? We know Natan Schulte had a first-round finish, but Ahmed was faster, so he gets 6 points and the #1 spot at lightweight. The defending champ is right now #2. Rashid Magomedov and Islam Mamedov each have 3 points, and Ramsey Nijam was awarded 3 in a walkover scenario. The Russians dominating the lightweight standings so far at PFL2. Here's Andre Harrison, formidable featherweight, looking to make his return to prominence here. Very near to his hometown. He's a Long Island native. His opponent, Peter Petties, will look to spoil the party when we come back. Sean O'Connell, Randy Couture, and Eve Edwards back cage side at Professional Fighters League Season 2. Featherweight standings as they are so far. Mavlid Haibulaev had the fastest finish in PFL history earlier, a 10-second flying knee knockout. Rafael Laurentino, also a first-round finish. Both of those men have 6 points in the early goings of our featherweight standing. Djiiroun upset Steve Seiler in our first fight of the night, and he's got 3 points as featherweight action continues here on Long Island. Andre Harrison was an expected favorite last season. He ran up against Lance Palmer and couldn't get past him. What do you expect from him in Season 2, E?
Well, Andre Harrison's coming off of that first loss in his career, so I really am interested in seeing how he bounces back from that. The knock on him has been he's been a decision machine. The PFL rewards you for wins, and winning you get in pretty much, but to go after those points, Andre Harrison is going to have to open up his game a bit, and I think this is the time to do it.
And there is the bull, Andre Harrison. Harrison had 7 months to think about the first loss of his career in last year's semifinals to Lance Palmer. He shared some of the lessons he learned heading into tonight's season debut.
If anything, I would say is a big mental drag. Like, you just need to keep your focus at all times. Like, there's no time to reflect. I didn't perform well at this, or I didn't do that, or maybe this hurts a little bit, or you have no time to reflect on anything. You just got to keep your focus. The moment your focus is off for a second, you just took away, from what could be. Kind of chalked it up to, it was me not performing to the best of my ability, and so when I went out there, I'm performing to a lesser version of myself. Lance was able to capitalize, and he came out the better man that night. If it comes to it, yeah, I mean, I beat him once, he beat me once, so we kind of have that, that rubber match out there somewhere. So if it comes to it, it'd be nice for us to, have that fight, but it's a new season, you have new players in the game, and I'm ready to get going again. Peter's a crafty striker. He's a tough guy. He's a gamer, man. He comes out there, throws from all different type of angles. He's a big boy for the weight class. So definitely gonna be a good fight.
It's an important thing when you get that first loss of your career, and that happened in Season 1 for Andre Harrison. Has he learned enough? 11 of those lessons to make the corrections necessary. You hear the little pop in the building as the bull enters the cage. He's from about 15 minutes away from here at the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum and NYCB Live. Well, we heard about Andre Harrison, but here's his opponent, Peter Petties, a PFL newcomer. Randy, what should we expect from him?
Well, Peter Petties also has a very strong wrestling background, but he likes to strike. He wants to stand up and make it happen. Was impressed with him. Said he's going to find a way to fight off his back. If Andre Harrison takes him down, he wants to keep this fight standing as long as he can. So you're looking at a wrestler who's going to try and use his wrestling to keep a fight on its feet.
He trains, you can see Lloyd Urban there behind him. He trains Team Lloyd Urban, so he's probably had a lot of different scenarios thrown at him in preparation for a fight like this. How do these two featherweight beasts stack up against one another? Peter Petties is the taller fighter. The leg reach advantage goes to Andre Harrison, who is 2 inches shorter and 3 years the senior of the much younger and slightly less experienced challenger. Lillian Garcia gets the featherweight started again in the PFL cage.
The action continues as this next fight is scheduled for 3 rounds in the featherweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. His style is Wu-Tang Sholin, standing at 5 feet 10 inches tall, officially weighing in at 145 pounds. In 13 professional bouts, he has a record of 8 victories, 4 defeats, and 1 contest. fighting out of Columbia, Maryland, here is Peter the Joker Petties. His opponent, fighting out of the red corner, he is a wrestler, standing at 5'8", weighing in at 146 pounds. He has been victorious in 20 of his 21 fights. Give it up for one of your own, fighting out of Freeport, New York, right here in Long Island. Here is Andre the Bull Harrison. Your referee in charge, Steve Rita.
Peter Petties in the green trunks, Andre Harrison, the local favorite, in the silver. Can the free-flowing style of Petties overcome the methodical approach of Andre Harrison? We'll find out as featherweight action gets underway here at NYCB Live. Front kick misses there for Andre Harrison. Petties the southpaw, as is Andre Harrison. Nice leg kick lands.
Petties is standing very upright, and that can be dangerous against a good wrestler.
And very hips canted as well, in a more of a boxing, traditional boxing stance.
Yeah, he does. And the reason why he doesn't want to stand so high is because the wrestler gets beneath your hips, you're going to be a step behind. And Andre Harrison keeps his legs moving. If he takes a shot, it's going to be very, very hard for Petties to catch up and defend that takedown. So you want to stay low so that you can defend that takedown.
Well, we knew he was unorthodox. Didn't know how far that unorthodox style extended, and all the way into his stance. Standing high, relatively flat-footed, but so far in the early measuring out here, Peter Petties looks like he belongs.
He's also pretty tall for the weight, Petties is. Watching him on tape, he doesn't look as tall as he is, but standing next to him.
There's a takedown attempt from Harrison.
There's that double, and Andre had him up, but ran out of real estate, ran into the fence.
Exactly. And I believe that's why Andre was backing up early, so he could run him over, but he took back some of that real estate and didn't have as much room to run his feet.
Petties down on one knee here against the cage.
Shuts the leg. Good job by Andre Harrison. And look at what Andre Harrison's doing with that near leg. He's shelving that on his thigh at times. Petties is trying to elevate himself because by shelving that, he's not allowing Petties to get that leg back, get his hips back under his own control, and pull that leg out so that he can stand up.
Andre Harrison has that far arm trapped behind Petties' back. And kind of almost a reverse seatbelt. It's going to make it difficult for Petties to get up off there with one arm trapped.
As difficult means the first thing he's got to do is address that before he can worry about getting up off his back.
Absolutely, go to the source of the problem.
And if I'm Andre Harrison right now, I want to step into that half guard, because right now Petties can only turn away from Andre Harrison with that rear seatbelt on. But if he steps into the half guard, he's got his legs locked down and his arm trapped, and then he can work to free up that left arm, but Petties is out of that seatbelt position.
He goes straight to over the neck and head of Andre Harrison when he gets that arm out, and I know from listening to Yves talk a lot, that's not where he would go with it.
I'm going straight for that underhook, and I wish Petties would go for that underhook. He may be setting up something else, but that underhook is almost a sure way of disrupting Andre Harrison's control on top, keeping him a little uncomfortable and making it harder for him to keep that top position, harder for Andre Harrison to keep that top position. Pettis right now, to me, I consider that holding Andre Harrison on top of him. But he's unorthodox, and unorthodox guys do a lot of weird things and pull some crazy stuff off too.
We've seen Harrison's pressure be effective in a lot of his fights. 15 of his 20 wins come by decision. He's methodical. He'll grind you. He'll break you.
And Andre
Into the body.
Harrison is a very athletic guy also, you know, so having that athletic ability, being able to do a lot of the things that Peter Petties can do, the knowledge of that, he knows what he needs to do with his own hips to shut down some of that offense of Peter Petties. And that's where Peter is going to have to get very creative if he's not going to go with traditional defenses.
Harrison has fought at a higher level than Petties has, and he has nearly double the experience. Right now, it's top control for Andre Harrison, telling the story in round one.
Although Andre Harrison is winning this round, he's not doing a lot of damage, and that's a good sign for Peter Petties. Why? Because the next round they start on their feet. And right now he's collecting all that data, right? You know, and he may be able to figure out what he needs to do next round.
Round two next. Sean O'Connell, Randy Couture, Eve Edwards, cage side in Long Island. PFL2, featherweights in action. Peter Petties in the green, Andre Harrison in the silver. And there's another kick attempt from Peter Petties. He promised us we would see some unorthodox kicking from him. Takedown attempt, this time stuffed by Petties.
Petties doing a little hip fake, kind of like Lyoto Machida does.
Another big body kick there. That one landed. Looked like it hurt a little bit. Andre Harrison game facing. Jumping knee attempt. And Harrison catches Petties and slams him for his efforts.
That had a lot to do with Andre Harrison's fight IQ.
Andre Harrison once again pressing Peter Petties into the cage.
Andre Harrison is doing a good job. What Peter Petties wants to do, Peter Petties needs to circle his head this way so that he's no longer flat on the cage. He can circle his head. Peter Petties should get his head away from the fence, because if he can get his head away from the fence, then he can elevate. Otherwise, what he needs to do is pummel to those underhooks and shoulder walk. As long as Andre Harrison has this position, his arm is underneath on the far side. As long as Andre Harrison has that underhook, Petties is going to be stuck up against that fence.
Around it now, he's mounted on the leg also and has elevated that left leg of Peter Petties, and it's just can't find points of pressure to get up.
It's a tough position to get your hips and create any leverage to create a scramble to get to his knees or get to use that fence and that barrier to climb up and get back to his feet.
Absolutely.
Our Smart Cageonomics fight tracker shows you that the story of this one has been Andre Harrison pressing his opponent against the cage and going to work in this position.
And this is how the story of fights change so quickly, because when Andre Harrison steps over Pettis' legs, Pettis no longer wants his back on the mat. He doesn't want that anymore, because Andre Harrison will be into a clean mounted position, and it's going to be even much harder to escape. Right now, he wants to keep his back on the fence if Andre Harrison gets those legs above Pettis' legs. But Andre Harrison is changing position so much. This elevated leg is going to keep Petties on the ground. He's just constantly moving into different positions.
Harrison's got an underhook with his right arm, and he's controlling Petties' right arm with his left. It's difficult for Petties to get anything going.
Petties needs to do some really, really educated hand fighting right here to get back to a good position where he can affect a defense or an escape.
Harrison's got his opponent flat on his back now. The right arm trapped underneath his leg.
What I like to see Harrison do is free up his own left arm and start punching with it. Like that. I think he's listening to me. And that lockdown position that Peter Pettis has, it makes it harder for Andre Harrison to move into different positions. And that lockdown position is having his feet in like a having Pettis' feet in a figure 4 position and hooked onto Andre Harrison's leg that's trapped inside that half guard.
Well, as round 2 wanes here, this is one of the interesting things about Andre Harrison's style. We talk in the fighter meetings about the urgency and making sure you get points with early finishes, and he's one of the fighters who says it's about winning first, and he'll win by any means necessary, including these grinders.
Yeah, most of his fights go to a decision. 75% of his wins are by decision. That's 15 wins by decision.
So Petties talking back to his corner there as they instructed him on how to get up from here. Looking to Lloyd Irvin and saying, I got it. So far, he doesn't have it.
What Pettis needs to do is pummel that elbow inside, fight to get inside that grip.
If Pettis can arm all the way over, he'll end up in front of Harrison, and there's an arm triangle attempt.
But he's out of time here in round number 2. Round 3 when we come back. Featherweights in action here on Long Island. 2 rounds in the books. Peter Petties in the green, Andre Harrison in the silver, and an exchange to start off round number 3.
Big overhand left by Petties.
Pettis seems to have some urgency in his
He needs some urgency. He literally got rode out for 2 rounds.
Big left hand landed there. Nice defense and a movement by Petties to get Andre Harrison off of him. Remember, it was the flying knee in round 2 that allowed Harrison to catch him and take him down. He'd had some success in the very early goings. If Petties is smart here, he might find an advantage in the striking.
Yeah, he can't get too flashy. I mean, Andre Harrison is just as fast as he is, but he's much more patient and calculated. So he's got to keep Andre Harrison on the outside and affect this striking, because that's where he's having the best time in this fight.
The second takedown stuff by Peter Petties in round 3. Confidence builder for him, but he's got to get to work. 4 minutes left. And once again, he finds himself tied up with the bull, Andre Harrison. His corner calling for a 3-piece, wants combinations from Peter Petties.
Three-piece is the most popular piece in mixed martial arts.
So far, Petties has only landed 3 total strikes. Nice leg kick from Andre Harrison. The Feints are coming from Petties, Eve. But another flying knee attempt, dangerous against the wrestler.
Get up under his face or underhook.
It's obvious Peter Petties likes to take those risks.
Definitely an athletic fighter.
He finds his back against the cage here.
And this is where the trouble can come his way. He's got to separate from Andre Harrison. He's fighting that wrist control. He's controlling Harrison's wrist. What I would recommend him doing is palming that throat of Andre Harrison and pushing him away, creating some space. But Harrison is doing what he needs to do to hold on.
Petties is talking during this entire fight, and now he circles away from the cage. He's got half a round left to try and make something happen here. And Andre Harrison once again drags Peter Petties to the mat.
And that's a definitive takedown for Andre Harrison in this fight. Peter Petties has had a lot of trouble getting out from underneath the wrestler, Andre Harrison.
You see the relaxed face there from Peter Petties. With this much time left in a fight where you've been rode for as long as you have, that relaxation is probably not necessarily appropriate.
Yeah, you want to stay calm, but he's got to affect proper technique now. I mean, Harrison has shut down all of his unorthodox techniques, so he's got to start going back to the textbook. We're looking at Andre Harrison controlling on the outside of the cage from the top position. I mean, Harrison has been on top. Harrison has been grinding away. And being in that position, he's landing the more effective strikes. He's landing the more total strikes. And that's why he's ahead on the judges' scorecards in everybody's eyes, I believe.
Harrison doing a good job, effective job of lacing his leg and getting underneath the bottom leg of Peter Petties. It happened in round 1 and round 2.
Trap that arm.
There's Keith Trimble and company in Harrison's corner.
Trap it with your knee. Yeah, let's go. Keep working the strike and trap. Pull him off the cage. Pull him off.
A little blood now on Petties' forehead, and I'm not sure if that's coming from Andre Harrison, or if that's Petties that's been hit and cut by Andre Harrison.
1 minute left, and Harrison once again on top of Peter Petties.
Petties gonna try and big buck in reversal here off of the fence. It'll be tough to move Andre Harrison. He's got such a strong base.
And look at how Andre Harrison is leaning into that position.
He takes the back of Peter Petties here, maybe. They'll ride it out in side control instead.
That crossface makes it hard for Peter Petties to turn into Andre Harrison. The crossface is with Andre Harrison's left arm across his chin. Now he's looking for that rear naked. And that's
still an extra bonus point on the line here.
Oh, he lost it. But there's a guillotine attempt by Andre Harrison.
5 seconds left in the round. Can Andre Harrison get the finish?
Petties
no legs, no legs.
Some action there late. Andre Harrison trying to get that extra point. Steal it at the end of the round. He rode out another methodical performance. Will it be enough in the eyes of the judges? We'll find out next on ESPN+.
This presentation of the PFL on ESPN Plus is presented by Presidente. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Caged Muscle.
There's Andre Harrison, the local favorite here at PFL2. Impressive performance. Randy, walk me through some of these takedowns.
Watch the level. There he absorbs the kick, but the pressure's coming from Petties, and that pressure is what's going to allow Andre Harrison to level change, hit that double leg, capture those hips, and put Petties on the ground. Again, level change, attacks that waist, picks him up, puts him, flares him, puts him on the ground.
A little bit of ground and pound here from Andre Harrison. A little exchange there. Petties' best work was done on the feet, but he spent a lot of time on the mat.
He absolutely spent a lot of time on his back. A little trip, follow that through.
Our smart cageonomics numbers. Ground strikes, 24 out of 31 of those landed. And also some effective kicking from Andre Harrison. What it doesn't show you is riding time on those 3 takedowns, but I think in the judges' scorecards, that might prove to be the difference. Which we'll find out inside of our PFL cage with Lillian Garcia.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecards. All 3 judges scored the bout 30-27. For your winner by unanimous decision, earning 3 points in the featherweight division, Andre the Bull Harrison.
So Andre Harrison gets the bad taste out of his mouth from his lone career loss, follows it up with a win and 3 points. Good enough right now for 3rd place in the featherweight standings. Movlid Aliev with 6, Luis Rafael Laurentino with 6, both first-round knockout finishes, and Andre Harrison and Djiiroun ground out a couple of decision victories for 3 points in Long Island. Caroline Pierce is inside the cage with our winner.
Thanks, Sean. A victorious Andre the Bull Harrison. It must feel good after suffering the first defeat of your career last year to come back and get a win and pick up those 3 points.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely good to start the season off with a win, but there's definitely more I could have done in there.
Well, it looked like the game plan was the takedowns and the top control. I mean, was that the plan going into the fight? We're going to take a look at it now.
No, not necessarily. It's just after that first exchange, I got in on his legs pretty good, so I was confident getting there, and I knew if I can get to the legs, I could finish. So.
Was there anything surprise you about Petties? I mean, he's got an unorthodox style, and you know he went for the flying knee at one point. Did anything catch you off guard?
No, that's pretty much what I expected. I figured he'd be kind of crafty striking and stuff. So, you know.
Nearly got the submission at the very end of the 3rd round. I mean, a little frustration there?
No, I mean, I definitely would have loved to gotten the finish, but you know, a little too late, I guess.
Well, you had huge support here in Long Island. Your fans certainly made some noise. Any words for them?
Long Island, what's up, baby?
Woo, let's give it up for your winner, Andre the Bull Harrison. Back to you, Sean.
Thank you, Caroline. The Long Island native gets 3 points in our featherweight standing. Speaking of Long Island natives, there's Long Island's own Chris Wade. The focus is on Nate Andrews this week, but he still has both of last season's matchups with lightweight champion Nassau Coliseum on his mind. There's Nate Andrews. It's Long Island versus Rhode Island. And as I mentioned, tonight it's all about Nate Andrews for Chris Wade. But he still has those 2 losses from last season in the matchups with lightweight champion Nassau Coliseum on his mind.
Well, growing up, my favorite animal is a snake, and my favorite WWE wrestler was Jake the Snake. So it kind of just fell in hand like that, and I have long reach, long arms, so everyone was like, oh, you're like a snake. So I just ran with it. I feel like my striking is a little unorthodox. It's very hard to deal with. I give guys a hard time. My reach is really long. I'm a southpaw, and I like to attack from angles. So I feel like my striking is definitely something that guys are going to be afraid of, and definitely not going to know how to handle and how to defend, which is going to make them get sloppy and go for takedowns, which they end up in my world anyways. I definitely watched the last season and saw the winner and saw a lot of the competitors in it and was like, I could beat any one of those guys. I feel like I'm one of the best in the world, and the world just doesn't know it yet. I watched Chris Wade fight. He's another guy that's talented, but I think he's more tough than talented. With anybody that's gonna come across the cage from me, my style, my reach is gonna be difficult for them to figure out, and I'm gonna be a problem for a lot of these guys. I'm gonna show them that I'm one of the best lightweights in the world, that I can go out there, I can finish on the ground, I can finish standing, and I'll have the PFL fans doing the snake at the end, just like I will be doing.
Well, we're back to some lightweight action here on Long Island. Ahmed Aliev with a fast finish has 6 points. Nassau Schulte, last year's champion, also a first-round rear naked choke. Rashid Magomedov, Islam Mamedov, and Ramsey Nijam all have 3 points. The Russians for a couple of decision victories. Ramsey Nijam got the walkover 3 points because his opponent was unable to compete this week. And it's another Long Island native who'll be representing tonight here at NYCB Live and Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. Chris Wade and Nate Andrews. What do we know about the snake here, Eve?
Well, Nate Andrews is a long guy, like he said in his interview. But he's coming in off a 9-fight winning streak, 7 submissions. And a lot of those submissions are chokes because of those long arms. And that's what Chris Wade is going to have to be aware of tonight.
And there's Chris Wade. And we talked to him a lot this week about his near obsession with last year's 2 losses at the hands of Nassau Schulte. He hopes a win tonight will get those off of his mind.
Heading into the second fight, I knew that he wasn't going to go backwards, that I had to meet him in the middle. That it was going to be a nasty fight, and that I had to be nasty in that fight.
Wade now doing a nice job, an inside trip of his own.
I brought all of that with me. I brought anger, I brought violence, animosity.
Chris waiting in, staying right in the pocket. We'll see if that changes things for him and if it also gets him in trouble.
Too much of that, where I opened myself up for some takedowns here and there. I let some of the smarts of fighting slip away in exchange for that violence and the animosity.
Schulte running across the cage, left straight, and just really picked up the pace here.
They were screaming, they were happy, everybody was pumped, and I thought we did it. I thought we were going back to New York. And waiting for those judges to call out the scores, I still thought I had it.
For your winner by unanimous decision, Natan Russo Schulte.
I was just distraught. I didn't even want to get up, but we had to get up and we had to move forward. I was able to put that behind me pretty quickly. You know, again, just draw back on wrestling. You can't feel sorry for yourself. I gave myself a few weeks off from everything, and then started mentally refocusing, let my body rest and recover, and then soon after that, started working out again. It's time to get better. It's time to be better. Nate Andrews, I know that he has a great record. I take it with a grain of salt. He never left a small promotion. You know, he's fighting guys who have 30+ professional fights that are under 500. So there's a false sense of confidence there for Mr. Andrews.
And there he is, Long Island's own Chris Wade. Expect a little bit of energy in this building when the local favorite walks out. And there it is on cue. A fan favorite here, and a guy who left behind his old boring style. He was insistent that he was no longer going to be the guy who shoots takedowns, grinds out tentative wins. He put it all out there. You've seen the highlights, Randy, the flying kicks and everything else. Is that going to be his approach in season 2?
Well, I guess we're about to find out. He definitely needs to open up. You got to be careful with a long-rangey guy like Andrews. You get too open, you get caught. So, you know, I think he's going to rely on that wrestling background. That's what got him here. It's a base for his fighting style.
And he told us in the fighter meetings that Nate Andrews actually grabbed his attention. He was so focused on getting the wins back against Natan Schulte. But this man right here, with his 7 straight fights and wins by submission, he grabbed Wade's attention by talking a little trash.
Yeah, talking trash on social media. Everybody has access to that. And when your opponent, when you have an opponent across the cage to you like Chris Wade, and he gets access to that, he's already upset, he's already grown, he wants to come after somebody, and you're coming to his hometown, Chris Wade is coming for a fight.
There's Nate Andrews, there's Chris Wade. How do these two men match up physically? Andrews with a significant reach advantage, 5-inch reach advantage. He's a long-limbed guy, part of the reason why he calls himself the Snake, also 4 years the senior of Chris Wade. Excited to see how this one plays out. Lillian Garcia gets us started in lightweight action.
It is non-stop action here in the PFL, and the following is scheduled for 3 rounds in the lightweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He is a striker, standing at 5'11" and weighing in officially at 156 pounds. With a near-perfect professional record of 15 victories and 1 defeat, he is fighting out of Providence, Rhode Island. And he is also making his PFL debut. Here is Nate the Snake Andrews. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, he is a wrestler, standing at 5 feet 10 inches tall, weighing in at 155 pounds. In 19 professional bouts, he has a record of 14 victories and 5 defeats. I know that you've been waiting for this one, fighting out of Rockville Center, New York. Here is the Long Island Killer, Chris Wade. Your referee in charge is Levine.
Yves Levine, the third man in the cage. Long Island versus Rhode Island. Chris Wade in the silver, Nate Andrews in the red. Wade comes sprinting out, but no flying kick this time. A body kick, though.
Nice side kick. Beautiful.
Inside leg kick to follow.
Whoa,
there's the flying
jumping
kick.
head kick.
That just missed.
We asked him if we were going to see this kind of stuff. He said, I don't know. Well, I think he'd already made the decision, Randy.
I spoke to Chris a week ago on the Thug Jitsu Master and Squid show, and he was just amped up for this fight already. And I mean, he came, I saw him this week all week, and he's been amped up the whole time. I didn't expect this out of him because Chris usually starts slow. He said he wants to kill that guy, and that's why his nickname now is the Long Island Killer, because he killed that Chris Wade. He wants to be this guy in fights.
We talked about the Southpaw versus Orthodox matchup, and Wade told us that he's going to switch stances every 5 or 10 seconds. So far, he's proven good on that, going back and forth, giving Nate Andrews a different look virtually every couple of breaths.
A couple of nice shots by Andrews.
Nice
little cup check. Chris walks right through it. Inside trip attempt. Body twist, a twisting body lock.
Great job by Andrews, staying on the feet.
Nate Andrews, no stranger to the ground. He's got 10 submissions in his fight record. Again with a twisting body lock.
Nice recovery again by Nate Andrews. Does not want to find himself underneath Chris Wade. As you mentioned earlier, Randy, he's still got that wrestling base, and it's tough to get out from under him.
Andrews is pummeled back in. Chris Wade had a body lock, but Andrews has made it a neutral clinch.
Over under, yeah.
Framing with his left arm the head of Chris Wade, and he attempts the knee, but Chris Wade turns away.
Inside trip.
Great balance there by Nate Andrews to counter. We'll take a look inside the blue corner of Nate Andrews.
Yep, stay busy. Lift that head right up. That's it. Be a pest. That's it. Beautiful. Yay! Good. Same thing. Take the head back up. Lock your elbow to your body. Yep, good. Same thing. Good.
Great head positioning there by Nate Andrews.
Yeah, and the reason his corner is telling him to lift that head, push that head up, because that takes away of the forward pressure from Chris Wade.
If you were asking for that in a previous fight, I think Harrison and Petties, you were asking for Petties to do that.
Yeah, because of taking away that forward pressure, it allows you some opportunities to pull yourself out of being pushed up against the fence, circling out, circling around, or even turning your opponent around and you being the man pushing him up against the fence.
A little bit of work done here by Chris Wade with a few strikes in this lock position against the cage. Double unders here.
Now, Nate Andrews being the taller guy, having these double unders is good for Chris Wade, but it's harder to effect a takedown when you're trying to trip the taller man in this underhook position. It's good to keep that underhook and then transfer down to the legs because it's hard for him to stop you from getting to below his hips.
Andrews frustrates Wade enough that Wade decides to come back to the center, and we're back to a striking exchange.
You're seeing about 70% of this fight is taking place in that outer ring in the cage, and that's then to Wade's advantage.
Here they are again, and now it's Nate Andrews in pursuit. Leaping punch attempt there by Wade, and he just misses with an uppercut. Nice jab by Nate Andrews as action heats up here towards the end of round one. Oh, nice head kick, that landed.
There's the double takedown.
Wade on top here with 30 seconds left.
And Andrews is looking to set up a triangle. That's why he's extending that arm of Chris Wade. He's going to try and throw that left leg over the shoulder. But Wade's wise to that. He's smart to that. He's not going to allow it to happen.
10 seconds left in the round. Chris Wade on top.
Good hips and blocking that sweep.
Heating up here in Long Island. Back for round two next. Sean O'Connell, Randy Couture, Eve Edwards back. Professional Fighter League lightweight action. Nate Andrews in the red, Chris Wade in the silver. Andrews catches a kick.
And we saw Andrews there in the first round for about 30 seconds really find his range and start to press Chris Wade. And I'm not sure if he thought Chris Wade was maybe a little tired from the pace he's been keeping or what. And that forced Chris Wade to set up a really nice double leg and drive through Nate Andrews and take him back off of his feet.
Knee attempt here by Nate Andrews. Wade able to stifle him and once again press him against the cage.
Wade's been able to get double unders from here, but not been able to effect a takedown while working for trips. I think he should bail on some of the trips and attack with some of those low leg attacks. Attack with some doubles, some singles.
Randy, what's the best place for Andrews to escape here? I guess he got himself off.
Yeah, Wade kind of let him off the hook there.
Double jab in the left hand there from Andrews. Still trying to feel that perfect distance that he found, as you mentioned in round one. Uppercut attempted there by Andrews.
Andrews is really starting to find his range, and I'm not sure Chris Wade's liking that much. There's that double leg again.
That's what I expected to see out of Wade when he was backing himself up to the fence to shoot, to change levels, shoot a double, and try to run him over, because we saw Wade do that in the first round. What Andrews is trying to do right here, Andrews is trying to get that leg over the shoulder like he just did, because he wants to affect the triangle. Chris did the exact right thing by punching that arm right back in. But look at this grip right here that Andrews has. That's what he wants in Chris Wade's hand, because he wants to take this leg out and bring that over Wade's shoulder to finish it. But Wade has got him in that half guard now, and he's going to have some problems from this position.
That bottom leg locked down by Chris Wade for the moment. Nate Andrews recovers the butterfly guard, works his back up against the cage to try and elevate and stand up.
Chris Wade doing a nice job of keeping that elevation and staying higher than Andrews.
Really making Andrews carry his weight, and Chris Wade appears to be positioning himself either to fall back on a choke, or if Andrews decides to stand up, he'll take the back.
They're sweaty now. Falling back on a choke from there is probably a bad idea. He's got a good dominant position. He's wearing on Andrews.
And now hanging on the head, and this can really, really tax you if you're the man on bottom here, Randy.
Now he's settling into a half guard, arm in, guillotine.
And knowing Chris Wade, I believe he's going to fight for that guillotine, but want to stay on top and possibly turn that into a darce. He bailed on it, it's gone.
Andrews' head pops out.
Andrews trying to scramble up, Wall walks up.
Look at that underhook.
Back to his feet.
Need that underhook to do that. Good job by Andrews. But Wade is keeping that pressure on him.
Still got the over-under here, does Andrews. Wade will look to reap at that leg and take him back down.
Andrews trying to frame Wade's head out. Put him in position to land one of those knees.
Here we are inside of Wade's corner.
We got to use our knees a little bit, Chris. Let's go.
1 minute left.
1 minute left. On his hands. On his hands. On his hands.
Now Andrews finds himself climbing up the back of Chris Wade.
But I believe Wade recognizes what's going on. He has 2-on-1 on the wrist, but Andrews looking for a Peruvian necktie.
An attempt at that Peruvian, but able to scramble back to his feet.
That hand control is what saved him.
Absolutely, that hand control saved him for sure.
And look at here, Nate Andrews reaching over for that Kimura escape.
And Chris Wade is looking to counter that with his own arm bar.
Nice little grappling exchange as round 2 starts to die.
It's like we're in Abu Dhabi.
Andrews still working back to his feet as the round ends, and he gets out. Round 3 next. Lightweight action in the Professional Fighters League Season 2. Nate Andrews in the red, Chris Wade, Long Island's own, in the silver. I'm Sean O'Connell alongside Randy Couture and Eve Edwards.
Still got 1 bonus point on the line, and I would score this fight right now for Chris Wade, but that second round was pretty close.
Second round was very close. I agree. I had it 2 rounds to 0 for Chris Wade. He's just controlled where this fight has happened.
But we talked to Chris Wade a lot leading up to this fight, and we know he doesn't want to leave this to the judges' scorecard. He felt like he got jobbed last year in doing that. So we'll see how aggressive he is in seeking the finish and a bonus point here in the lightweight standing.
Interesting, Andrews' corner said, this kid's tired. He can't defend himself. Let your hands go.
Finding his range still is Andrews. He has to reset that range every time, every round after being ridden there, Randy.
And he's got to be careful not to press Chris Wade too hard and walk in to one of those double legs.
Especially when Wade changes to southpaw. Most wrestlers wrestle out of that southpaw stance if they're right-handed. And that's probably going to be Wade's most powerful double leg.
Andrews searching with that lead kick. Nice uppercut, lead uppercut landed, and a body kick to follow. Big knee there from Nate Andrews.
Wade's hands are locked.
And dumps him to his butt. Can Nate Andrews scramble back to his feet? 3.5 minutes left. After finding some success in those early exchanges, Randy had to have built some confidence, but now he finds himself once again covered in that wet blanket.
He's doing a good job now, using that whizzer, fighting and using that ring pad to try and fight back up to his feet.
You can hear Nate Andrews' corner calling for him to get off the fence. Can't get anything done here in the striking game. Does a good job of controlling the leg of Chris Wade and making him go on the defensive.
Andrews looked for his own takedown there. Wade was able to escape. But Andrews is about to take his back if he can clear his head. Wade needs to put that whizzer in, but he doesn't have the angle.
There's the takedown.
And Nate Andrews finds himself on the back of Chris Wade.
He's up really high. Wade's going back door on him.
Excellent scramble and escape by Chris Wade to go out the back door. He isolated that left hand of Andrews.
Both legs in. He's got the hooks in. He's going to stretch him out, try to break him down right here.
Good wrestling hand control by Chris Wade. And here's the rear naked.
It's the rear naked. It's on the face right now. Chris Wade's got a lot of squeeze. We've seen
Andrews is doing a nice job of turning in his legs and taking that angle away from him.
And Chris Wade decides to opt for the mount, 3/4 mount here. And now he'll rework the choke. Nate Andrews doing a good job keeping that chin tucked. Not where he wants to be, though, underneath Chris Wade with an arm around his neck.
And Wade's able to put both hooks in. He's trying to trap that. Wade is trying to trap that arm.
And now he'll put both arms on the choke. It's still on the jaw of Nate Andrews, but can Wade squeeze it out?
Got it on top of his head. Andrews trying to get a hold of that hand and pull it down.
Yeah, Wade has got to go palm to palm and just squeeze right now. Keep his elbows, his shoulders shrugged, and his elbows pinned to his body. But he wasn't able to.
Wade scrambles to stay on top here, and a nice escape from Nate Andrews on the bottom.
These men are working hard.
Andrews with his back up against the cage. Eve, do you reach for a choke here and try and make something happen from your back, or do you scramble to your feet if you're Nate Andrews?
If I'm Nate Andrews with those long arms, I do what he's doing right here, but he's got to clear, Nate Andrews has got to clear that left leg, get that over the top. Oh, he's looking for a dosh.
Chris Wade does a great job fighting hands, making it really tough to get to his neck.
Nice scramble by Nate Andrews, who finds himself now on the back of Chris Wade. A 2-on-1 defense with the arm is what's saving Chris Wade right now.
It's been a very tactical round.
Andrews up a little too high. If Wade can stop that hook from, but he gets the hook in. Wade needed to stop that hook from getting in. Andrews would have fallen right off the top.
30 seconds left, 20 seconds left. Time running out for these two men to grab an extra bonus point and convince these judges that they deserve any.
This round has been close. It could end up, I mean, the judges could be affected by who ends up in the best position at the end of the round.
Nate Andrews attempts an armbar at the end.
Right at the bell.
Woo! A hard-fought Long Island versus Rhode Island matchup.
Island boys.
You know something about Island boys, Eve.
Island boys are tough.
And in some ways, this is Chris Wade's nightmare, leaving it in the hands of the judges.
At home.
Did he do enough to get 3 points in the lightweight standings? We'll find out when we come back. PFL action on ESPN+. There's Long Island's own Chris Wade. Did he get it done at home in front of the local fans? Nate Andrews had something to say about it, especially at the end there. Back and forth grappling exchange between these guys. Very hard-fought battle for whoever is deemed the victor in this one.
Nice kick right on the chin by Andrews. There's the double leg takedown. Trips him, puts Andrews on his back like Chris Wade.
Andrews was able to land some of these kicks from the outside. He started to find his range, get Chris Wade backing up. And this is where I feel like he was doing the most effect in this fight. He forced Wade to shoot, and then Wade was able to get his back. And Randy, I mean, right here, this is where I thought Wade had his best shot of finishing the fight.
He was close. Andrews did a nice job of sliding off of his hips, creating that difficult angle to sink that choke in deep and fight that top hand.
And the grappling exchanges back and forth between these two men at the end of the second and third rounds. I mean, it really showed a high level of grappling. Nate Andrews was able to defend, started throwing some punches to annoy Chris Wade. Chris changed position on him, got to the top, and was able to stay on top. Andrews backed himself up to the fence, attacked with a couple guillotines, and was able to get behind Chris Wade, looked for a rear naked, switched it to an armbar attempt right at the bell, and I would love for them to have been 30 more seconds in the round just to see how that would have played out.
I'd like to watch 2 more rounds of these guys going back and
I'll
forth.
watch them all fight again and again and again.
We might see it again because of the way the PFL standings and seedings and the playoffs work. Here's our Cageonomics final fight stats. Pretty even numbers in the total strikes, but Chris Wade more effective with his punches. Also, the takedowns, once again, proved to be a huge difference here. We'll see how the judges saw it with Lilian Garcia in the cage.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecards. And the totals are 30-27, 29-28, 29-28, all for your winner by unanimous decision, earning 3 points in the lightweight division, the Long Island Killer, Chris Wade!
3 points for Chris Wade, and those are 3 huge points for the hometown favorite here at PFL2. Randy, he was stewing for so long about those losses to Natan Schulte, and he gets an important win in the column here. Here's our lightweight standings. After Wade and Andrews squared off, 6 points apiece for Ahmed Aliev and Natan Schulte, last year's champion. Rashid Magomedov, Chris Wade, Islam Mamedov, all grinded out 3-round decisions, good for 3 points. And Ramsey Nijam with 3 walkover points because his opponent for this week deemed medically unable to compete. But he did make weight, so he's rewarded with 3 points. Caroline's in the cage with our hometown winner.
Thanks, Sean. Chris, look, when the scores were read out, then it looked like more a feeling of relief than it was happiness at getting the win. Were you nervous based on what happened last year of leaving it to the judges?
No, that was a different kind of fight with me scoring the takedowns this time, so that's why I felt I had it.
Look, some great grappling exchanges in there. Just talk us through the fight and what you think you did well and where Nate posed any problems.
Well, I thought that it would be really easy for me to take him down off the cage with trips and with throws, and I wound up spending a lot of energy failing. He was ready for those. He surprised me, and I had to go back to my leg attacks, which I wanted to stay away from because he's so good at choking people. But damn, he's a tough guy. I thought that I had him in trouble a couple times, but I thought I'd be able to put him away a lot easier, and damn, he was game. I gotta give it to him.
Well, a tough fight by both of you. Look, you said before that an angry Chris Wade is a better Chris Wade. Was that an angry Chris Wade in there?
I think initially it was an angry Chris Wade, and then some of that cage grappling can just take the wind out of your sails. So we need to, when that's not working, we need to do a little less of that, get back on our feet and start banging. But yeah, it was in the beginning for sure.
Well, victorious tonight. Big congratulations. 3 points for your winner, Chris Wade. Back to you, Sean.
Three huge points there for Chris Wade at the lightweight standings, and there's your featherweight defending champion, Lance the Party Palmer. And there is Alex Gilpin, his opponent from the University of Wisconsin. We talked with Gilpin. He believes that he can show Lance Palmer something he's never seen before in the Professional Fighters League cage.
I'm very excited for that fight. You know, whether he knows it or not, I believe I'm a terrible matchup for him. And either knock him out on the feet or submit him on the ground. I'm throwing some attacks at him that he hasn't seen, and he'll find that out.
Welcome back. That's beautiful New York City, the Big Apple, and we're here on Long Island at NYCB Live in the Nassau Veteran Memorial Coliseum. Here's our featherweight standings tonight, heading into our last bout. Movlid Khaybulaev with a record-setting 10-second flying knee knockout gets 6 points. Luis Rafael Laurentino, also a first-round finish for 6. Andre Harrison, Gaji Rabadanov, each with decision victories tonight, good for 3 points. And the defending champ, Lance Palmer, is back at featherweight. He'll take on the challenger out of Wisconsin. Randy, 2 wrestlers, but the pedigree's a little bit different. What do you expect from Gilpin?
Well, you know, he says he has some tricks in his bag. It's going to be interesting to see. Lance has a tendency to want to take guys down, and sometimes you can put yourself in danger in doing that. I'm interested to see how this wrestler faces another wrestler, and then that leaves you with the other things that they're good at, and who's going to impose their will there.
He keeps telling us we're going to see something fancy and something new, but tough to bring that against a guy like Lance Palmer, and there is Lance Palmer. He really has to be considered one of the favorites again this year. The pressure of having that target on his back doesn't really seem to faze him much, and Caroline Pierce took a deeper look at the keys to Palmer's championship success.
Lance Palmer is the embodiment of the modern-day dedicated and disciplined professional athlete. A 4-time All-American wrestler at Ohio State University, Palmer built on that experience.
Nice finish, takedown by Palmer.
My strengths as a fighter are definitely in my skill set with wrestling and my ground game, obviously.
Wow, look how quick that takedown is.
Very, very nice. Big stand up.
Also my conditioning, my strength, everything outside of the actual technique of it.
Palmer with a full mount.
Full mount and almost had the arm triangle there.
My mentality going into it and my intensity, and that all comes from that wrestling background. So I brought all that into my MMA game.
Beautiful technique by Lance Palmer.
That's it, got it.
Palmer's preparation and consistency were key. He methodically stuck to his game plan, landing him in the semi-finals where he faced Andre Harrison, the last man to beat him.
When we're standing across the cage from each other and I'm looking at Harrison and we're about to start the fight, I'm just in the zone, I'm focused. I knew the changes I had to make from the first fight where I didn't really use my wrestling like I wanted to.
Here we go.
There's the takedown.
It is on.
Waiting for the decision to happen, I was really confident that I was going to get the win, but you never know what the judges are going to do, so.
Lance Palmer!
When I got my hand raised against Harrison, it was a big sigh of relief for me. That was a fight that I had always wanted to get back.
In addition to evening the score with Harrison, that victory earned Palmer a spot in the championship against Steven Seiler. In preparation for the fight, Palmer and his wife Jessie left nothing to chance.
During the championship week, it was the first time my wife had been with me throughout the entire fight week. She took a lot of pressure off my shoulders by being able to take care of the little things for me, like helping me cook my meals and taking care of the food that my nutritionist and strength and conditioning coach had already had planned out for me day by day.
With optimum preparation and possessing maximum motivation, Lance Palmer took the #1 seed Steven Seiler the full 5 rounds and clinched the title with a unanimous decision. But that doesn't mean the sacrifices necessary to win are over.
To defend my title in 2019 and go 5-0 this year and beat a whole different group of fighters would mean everything to me, because just to get to the top is difficult, but to defend and stay at the top is when you're really a true champion.
So our second champion of the night looks to start his quest for gold again in season 2. The 4-time Ohio State Wrestling All-American Lance Palmer and reigning PFL featherweight champ. Randy, he went for finishes in his regular season fights last year. He wanted the points. We talked to him yesterday. He wants the points again. Are we going to see an aggressive Lance Palmer to start this one out?
I think we are. I think that's how he is. That's the kind of fighter that that he wants to be. Unless Alex Gilpin can put that little doubt in his mind and make him revert to that pure wrestling and takedown and control, I think we're going to see a knockdown, drag-out fight here.
There he is entering the cage, and his opponent, Alex Gilpin, quiet confidence about him all week, walking around the hotel, talking to us. He seems to feel like he's got a secret nobody else is in on. Eve, what's it going to take for Alex Gilpin to pull off an upset here?
He's going to have to affect his jiu-jitsu because Lance Palmer's wrestling is high level. We're talking about state champion in Ohio in high school, 4-time All-American at Ohio State, one of the best wrestling colleges in the country. I mean, this is the highest level of wrestling we have in the sport of mixed martial arts. Alex Gilpin has a high level of wrestling, but he doesn't have the pedigree that Lance Palmer has. He's going to have to affect that submission game.
Yeah, you try and go pedigree for pedigree in wrestling against Lance Palmer, there's very few guys that can stand toe-to-toe with him. So how do they match up physically? 5'6" is Lance Palmer, 5'7", a 1-inch height advantage for Alex Gilpin. Slight reach advantage with the arms for Gilpin. And a little bit longer in the legs is Lance Palmer. Physical profiles that are nearly identical mean that you can't really exploit any particular glaring difference. And Lillian Garcia will get these featherweights going at Long Island.
Fans, this is the final fight of the night. It is scheduled for 3 rounds in the featherweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, he is a wrestler standing at 7 feet, weighing in at 145 pounds. In 13 professional bouts, he has a record of 12 victories and 1 defeat, with 6 wins by submission. Making his PFL debut, fighting out of Madison, Wisconsin, here is Alex Gilpin. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, he is a wrestler, standing at 5 feet 6 inches tall, weighing in at 145 pounds. In 20 professional bouts, he has a record of 17 victories and 3 defeats. Ladies and gentlemen, he was your 2018 PFL Featherweight Champion, fighting out of Columbus, Ohio. Here is Lance the Party Palmer. Your referee in charge, Kevin McDonald.
Feature bout of the evening here, Lance Palmer, defending champion in the silver, Alex Gilpin, the newcomer, in the green trunks.
Ready to fight? Ready to fight? Let's go.
We are underway for our final bout of the evening here on ESPN+. Alex Gilpin comes out aggressively against Lance Palmer.
Lance Palmer needs to go work out. He needs some muscles.
The man is clinical in his preparation, everything. His workouts, his wrestling, his training sessions, his diet, nutrition, all of it. He approaches it as a professional, and he has for his whole career. Nice big left hand there from Lance Palmer, who incidentally is still searching for his first career knockout victory.
And he's been training with Frankie Edgar, Eddie Alvarez, Marlon Moraes. Those guys all have knockouts. And that's a great place to pick up your striking game.
Gilpin tries to dive in with an overhand right. Shrugged off by Lance Palmer.
Level change, fake a shot, come with that overhand right was what Gilpin was trying to do. Gilpin definitely pressing the action.
Another big left hand. And Eve, you talked about it, the change of training camp could potentially pay dividends, especially in the striking for Lance Palmer.
Yeah, his striking already looks a bit different. It looks a little more crisp. He looks a little more comfortable with fighting on the outside. He's never looked shy in the striking department, but he looks more confident in it.
Gilpin closes the distance, stuffs a takedown attempt.
Nice sprawl by Gilpin.
I feel the Lance Palmer from last year would have taken that shot, missed that shot, and chain wrestled Gilpin to the ground. But he pulled out and went straight to striking.
Single shots here Pot shots by Alex Gilpin, trying to land a big right hand. Probing with the jab. High kick attempt there by Gilpin. Body kick. So far, Gilpin the aggressor in the striking.
Oh, big shot.
Punch by
Big
Lance
shot by
Palmer.
Lance.
Left hand landed, and now he's got the back of Alex Gilpin. Dropped it with a left.
Now this is where training with those guys is going to come in and help a lot, because he hurt Gilpin there. If he stayed on the outside, I believe he could hit him again and stun him again. But this is where Lance Palmer is comfortable. This is where he wants to be. He wants to affect this grappling game. But this is where Gilpin's
Gilpin's doing a nice job of controlling those hands, not letting him free, not letting Lance do anything to soften him up or adjust to that choke.
Even though Lance Palmer's on his back, and that is a terrible place to be when you just got dinged like that, having a little bit of time to recover might be nice for Alex Gilpin.
But also being in this position, that will give him some time to recover. He's not taking shots right now. You know, this is kind of one of those positions where you get hurt. You want to tie up with your opponent. He's saving himself by putting that 2-on-1 grip on Lance Palmer's hands. Palmer's not able to hit him.
And now Gilpin gets to work trying to peel the hands of Lance Palmer off his neck. Easier said than done. Palmer looking to sink in the choke. Flattens out Gilpin on the belly. And now he's in mount. Legs laced. Nice ground and pound here from the top for Lance Palmer.
Gilpin's going to come out the back door. Palmer scrambles. Does a great job of recovering and staying on top.
Excellent recognition there by Palmer. Big body shot and goes to the head afterward. We saw this pay dividends earlier in a different fight. Hammering away at the body is Lance Palmer.
Lance Palmer needs to get into the tenderizing business. Those body shots look like they hurt.
Gilpin's on his way to try and scramble up that fence, get back to his feet. Palmer attacking the waist, trying to pull his hips back out and put him back down.
Palmer excels here. Elite pressure from the top in these wrestling exchanges. Credit to Alex Gilpin for keeping himself out of significant trouble, aside from these tenderizing body shots that he've already mentioned.
Gilpin's looking for that ninja choke.
5 seconds left in round number 1. Palmer dropped him. Can he get a finish in round 2? Lance Palmer still seeking the first knockout win of his career, and he almost got it right here. A big left hand lands, and Randy, here's the ground and pound.
Fighting from the guard, just tenderizing those ribs, and then switching the occasional one right up to the head.
An interesting round 1. We've seen an aggressive defending champion Lance Palmer, and also Alex Gilpin in the first half of that round, making it tough for Palmer to finish out the takedowns. Touch of the gloves to begin round number 2. The challenger Gilpin in the green, Lance Palmer in the silver. Overhand right attempt there by Alex Gilpin. Second time we've seen that in this fight. Body kick from Lance Palmer. Inside leg kick here. Even looks like Lance is content to circle around the outside of the cage.
Yeah, you got to be careful with a wrestler of the caliber of Lance Palmer doing that, because as you're coming forward on him, look at all that real estate behind Gilpin. Lance is going to run his feet if he changes levels and gets to Gilpin's legs, and he will finish that takedown. Why? Because he'll keep running his feet and take up all that space.
Another right hand attempted by Gilpin. Inside leg kick and a left hand from Palmer. And there's a takedown attempt. Followed up with a couple strikes on the break here. That's something that usually, as you alluded to earlier, Lance Palmer would continue with a reshot rather than strikes there.
Yeah, his striking game is changing, and if he stays in New Jersey training with Frankie, Marlon, and Eddie Alvarez, Marlon Moraes, Frankie Edgar, and Eddie Alvarez, his striking is only going to improve.
Gilpin goes upstairs with a head kick attempt blocked by Lance Palmer.
He changed levels, looked like he was going to shoot, but threw the overhand left.
Gilpin's anticipating those level changes very, very well, and I think that's why Lance is bailing on those takedowns, because he knows he's not in deep enough to finish them.
Another body kick from Palmer after the right hand from Gilpin.
And that's that.
There's the double.
Gilpin closes the guard but finds himself flat on his back. And an onslaught of those body punches again from Lance Palmer on top. More work from the top from Lance Palmer. You can see the Cageonomics numbers there in our smart cage on the bottom, and the body is absorbing damage for Alex Gilpin.
Man, if we were to roast up Alex Gilpin,
there's a choke attempt. He's trying a very interesting, trying to trap Palmer's head, Gilpin does.
Yeah, trying to work that ninja choke.
He promised us that we would see something a little bit different, and there's about 3 or 4 attempts for that choke. So far unsuccessful, but it's not common. We don't see that attempted very often.
I think Lance Palmer's seen it before, though.
He certainly doesn't seem to be falling for the trap.
Those ribs are going to be as tender as Kobe beef by the time Lance Palmer gets done with him.
Eve Edwards getting hungry here on ESPN+.
Nice little sweep.
There. Well, the left hand landed as he was scrambling up. Can Lance Palmer continue to put together these different striking exchanges, or will Gilpin turn the tide after spending more than half of this round on his back? Another inside leg kick from Lance Palmer. 7 of his 8 kicks have landed so far, and you see the body work being done. Most of those total strikes have landed to the ribs of Alex Gilpin. Check that inside leg kick. Less than a minute left here in round number 2. Another right hand from Gilpin, and Randy, he's throwing the right hand one at a time, not following it up with a combination.
Yeah, he's throwing it and switching his feet at the same time as he throws it. It's a bit strange, honestly.
Now, I have Lance Palmer. Lance Palmer's dad. I can hear him over my shoulder. Just he's like a fourth quarter man for Lance Palmer, because he's screaming, "This kid said he's got something. Show him he's got nothing for you. He's supposed to show you something new. Show him he's got nothing new."
10 seconds left here in round number 2. Another takedown and some body work for Lance Palmer, and Gilpin will try and attempt one to finish round 2.
Yes.
Keep going.
Sean O'Connell, Randy Couture, Eve Edwards here. And Randy, here's a kick from Palmer and another takedown.
Nice double, runs through him, ends up in his guard, but does a nice job, and then just continues to tenderize those ribs. He's going to be a little sore, I think, for the next week or so.
Don't say tender ribs around Eve right now.
That look delicious.
And the end of the round here, Eve, Gilpin with some elevation in the slam.
Showing his wrestling acumen there. Getting under Palmer's hips, picking him up, big slap. Little late. He should try to get that going earlier in the round.
Featherweight action here on Long Island. Round 3 between featherweights. Lance Palmer with a shot right at the beginning of the round. Gilpin will try and hang on the head and get a choke here.
It didn't start very deep, but that's gotten deeper and deeper. Lance, good. He was fighting the hands from the far side. Did a good job in defending. Lance needs a rib sponsor because I'm thinking about getting some of those after the fights tonight.
Well, Gilpin's got to open his guard. He can't spend the rest of the round here. He's got to get up and make something happen because he's down 2 rounds to nothing.
Yeah, another 4 minutes of this is not going to be anything that scores points for Gilpin. But Lance Palmer wants more than 3 in a decision. He's staying aggressive
There's a
from the
sweep
top.
attempt.
It's also looking on bar.
He's got to open that guard up, though. You're not going to stand up from a wrestler with a closed guard. It's just not going to happen.
Sorry, you tried that elevator sweep there, did Alex Gilpin. Lance Palmer, once again, smothering from the top. We saw this so many times in his career. We saw it last year.
That elevator sweep, though, that's kind of telling. That's telling me that he's running out of options because that is probably the hardest sweep to finish on a wrestler.
Lance Palmer's wrestling base is about as solid as they come.
And here's that ninja choke attempt again. Negated by Lance Palmer's top control in wrestling.
There's an armbar attempt.
Palmer shoves the face of Alex Gilpin and puts him right back on his back. 2 minutes into this round, and so far Alex Gilpin, no answer for the top control of the defending champion, Lance Palmer.
And if that choke was what was his game plan, or what he thought was something Lance didn't see, maybe it wasn't, but now that he has, he knows how to defend it, and he's not even coming close to it anymore. Gilpin's got to get those legs on the inside. Try to work those legs to a butterfly guard because there's no way he's going to get up with his legs in the air against Lance Palmer.
That elevator sweep attempted again. And Randy, we know that Gilpin has to get up off of his back, but if you're Lance Palmer, the defending champion, you want at least 4 points out of this one. What do you have to do to try and get the finish here?
Well, he's passing the half guard now, which is certainly a better position for him, for striking and for potential to move to mount, to move to a better submission position. But
Gilpin recovers
from this closed guard, and Gilpin's locking himself into that bottom position with that closed guard. He's also locking Lance into the same old thing that he's been doing now for the rest, for the first 2.5 rounds of this fight.
You see the Cageonomics in our PFL Smart Cage numbers piling up there. 107 total strikes landed for the defending champs, Lance Palmer. Here's the choke attempt again. Nothing doing from the bottom here for Alex Gilpin.
Now see, Alex Gilpin just had the butterfly guard, but he fought back to the closed guard. And that's telling, and now he wants to get up, but Lance Palmer's just going to return him. Just a mat return, just drags him back down to the mat. Keep his riding time going.
Palmer throws a leg over to try and get a hook, ends up in the half guard after Gilpin scrambles. And back to a closed guard from Alex Gilpin.
And that's basically saying, I'm going to keep you here. There's no way you're getting up from Lance Palmer from a close guard.
Desperation time for Alex Gilpin. 30 seconds remaining in this feature featherweight bout. Lance Palmer in the silver trunks on top, our defending champion, looking to ride his way to maybe 3 points.
He's trying to trap that arm beneath. He did just for a second. Only got one shot out of it.
Lance Palmer finishes round 3 on top. It's been the tale of the fight. And Randy, it felt like the wrestling pedigree of Lance Palmer displayed itself again.
Absolutely. Great base, great takedown, solid performance. Nothing flashy, but solid.
We'll have the judges' decision next on PFL and ESPN+.
This presentation of the PFL on ESPN Plus is presented by Presidente. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Caged Muscle.
There is your defending featherweight champion, Lance Palmer, and I am not a judge, but it looked like it was all Lance again in this fight. Randy, here's the big knockdown in round 1.
Yeah, very nice. 1-2-3 combination. Caught him right on the chin and a little off balance and put him on the deck. Nice double leg transition, protected his neck because he had the sense that Gilpin was going for a choke the entire match.
Our smart cage racks up numbers for us, and the Cageonomics show you that Lance Palmer landed an even 100 strikes on the ground, pounding away at the body of Alex Gilpin. And those takedowns after the knockdown proved to be, I think, enough. We'll find out how the judges saw it with Lillian Garcia inside of the PFL Smart Cage.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecards. All 3 judges scored the bout 30-27 for your winner by unanimous decision, earning 3 points in the featherweight division, Lance the Party Palmer.
So where does that put our defending champion in the featherweight standings here in season 2 of Professional Fighters League? Good enough so far for the 4 spot. He finds himself looking up at Movlid Khaybulaev, Luis Rafael Laurentino, and Andre Harrison, who also grounded out a decision victory tonight, as did Djiiroun against Steven Seiler, last year's finalist, to open the action tonight. Lance Palmer is inside the cage with our own Caroline Pierce.
Thank you, Sean. Lance, a great first step towards getting back that title and another $1 million. You've got to be happy with that performance.
I'm not super happy with it, but he's a tough opponent. There's a reason he was 12-1 before this fight, but I felt that I controlled the entire fight. I felt that, you know, when I dropped him in the first round, it was just being smarter about getting on him and getting the finish, but he had good choke defense and he recovered quickly from that left hand. So just keep getting more and more crisp as these go on, and working with Coach Henry and working on my hands, and he's always telling me, get that 3rd and 4th punch out there. That's what's going to hit him, and it was the 3rd punch that landed that hit him. So it's only going to get better as the season goes on with working with all these high-level guys, so I'm excited for it.
Well, let's talk about that knockdown early in the first. You've moved training camp, you've been working with some new guys. Do you feel that's what's led to these different exchanges, striking exchanges that you set up?
Definitely, it's just being confident in throwing more than 1 or 2 punches. I know the power's there, it's just about setting it up better, and that's one thing that Coach Henry's done a great job of just in the short time we work together, is not being afraid to throw 2, 3, 4 punches in a row, and the wrestling's always going to be there, but I don't have to rely on it once I get confident in doing all these.
What do you think of the other featherweight performances tonight? I know you were watching earlier, we saw that 10-second knockout of Movlid Khaybulaev. I mean, these guys, you've got the target on your back, they're chasing you, but they put down a great stamp there.
Yeah, it was good. The guys getting finishes and doing all that, but you know, getting the win I was okay with, but I wanted to get a finish as well. So, you know, it's about being smart too. You know, you go out there and get reckless, you get kneed in the head in 10 seconds. So you got to be smart about it. It's a strategy to it also, but I'm looking to get better each fight, and it's the first fight since December, so I'm just getting the rust out and getting ready for July now.
Well, we know you're always strategic and a smart fighter, and it's great to watch you in there again. 2018 champion Lance Palmer, congratulations.
Thank you.
Impressive performance there by Lance Palmer, our defending champion, gets 3 points. Speaking of impressive performances, our knockout of the night, Ahmed Aliev, courtesy of Presidente, puts a right hand and a flurry of punches on Carlos Silva. Good enough for first round KO at 6 points. Join us 2 weeks from tonight, PFL3, featuring the heavyweights and the light heavyweights. Of course, one of those light heavyweights, a guy I know a little bit about, Vinny Magomedov, who ran through the field in season 1. Submission.
Yeah. World-class grappler, world champion jiu-jitsu practitioner, very good athlete, and he is definitely going to be one to watch this season.
A big finish there against Halsey in his second fight of season 1. And I tell you what, 2 impressive finishes in the playoffs. Similar style, a couple of big submissions. And you know he's hungry coming into season 2 for that $1 million and to get the loss off of his record. Join us 2 weeks from tonight for PFL with the heavyweights and light heavyweights. For Randy Couture and Eve Edwards, I'm Sean O'Connell. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks for watching Professional Fighters League.
welcome back to New York. We're here at the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum on Long Island, and it is myself, Caroline Pierce, and Eve Edwards to talk you through all the action from tonight's fights. We had our featherweights and our lightweights in action. And Eve, you said prior to tonight, you said these are the two divisions that produce the fireworks, produce the fastest finishes, and we certainly got that.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't make me out to be a liar because these fights were amazing. We had the fastest finish in Professional Fighters League history tonight.
10 seconds.
10
we'll talk
seconds.
about that.
And then we had a much slower finish at 23 seconds in the very next fight.
It's funny to say 23 seconds was the slowest fight behind the 10, well, a slower fight than the 10-second fight. I mean, that's just incredible. But
it took them twice as long.
That's true. Well, we'll get on to both of those in a minute. They came from two Dagestani fighters who always impress. But I want to start with Lance Palmer in the featherweight division. He is the defending, the reigning 2018 PFL champion, but started at 0 points like everybody else in the division. But his wrestling pedigree is unbelievable.
Yeah, but he showed us a fringe in his game, a new wrinkle in his game by landing that big left hand and following it up with the wrestling that brought him to the championship last season. I mean, he dominated from the top. He showed us who Lance Palmer is. Tenderized those ribs of Alex Gilpin all night long. Alex Gilpin was able to get in there and get underneath Lance Palmer and finish a takedown at the end of the second round. But you see the referee stepping in there because that was the end of the round. He was able to do anything with it. But then Lance was able to get a takedown in the third, control it, and get himself 3 points, moving on into the second round of the featherweights for the PFL for this season.
Well, I said to Lance in the cage, I said, look, you know, you've seen some of the other guys go and get those 6 points, and he's just very methodological, and he just said, you know, it's about winning, it's about being sensible and structured, and that's what he does. He's strategic.
He has, I mean, you have to get the win first to get the points, right? So, I mean, all it's about for Lance is getting into the playoffs, because then the wins, the points don't matter. You just have to get through the guy in front of you. But to get to that point, you have to get those points, and he wants to get the wins, and he's going to try for the extra points, but he's not going to force it.
Well, he's got so much experience. Another man with experience and very familiar to Lance Palmer is Andre Harrison, and he took on an unorthodox fighter in Peter Petties, but his wrestling was dominant also.
Again, both these men have some of the best wrestling in the featherweight division in the Professional Fighters League, and Andre Harrison was able to use that wrestling. He needed that wrestling because Peter Petties did look good. He was able to land some good strikes, but Andre Harrison was able to change levels on him right here after that flying knee, get to the takedown, and once again, do what he does, dominate from top control. Here he hits that outside trip, and he stays on top. Peter Petties was able to keep his back up against the fence, but Andre Harrison did not allow him to get back to his feet, and that's how he got himself that W, just grinding away like he always does and gets that 3 points.
Yeah, he puts on the pressure. And talking about the runner-up from last year, Steven Seiler, this was the upset of the evening. The Dagestan fighter, Djiiroun, handed him a defeat.
Yeah, he did. I mean, Steven Seiler is the kind of guy who, when you have him in trouble, that's when he's most dangerous. And there was a few times that his names are so hard sometimes. Rabinov had him in trouble, but Seiler was so smart. Seiler was attacking from the bottom, but Rabinov was so smart that he was aware of every attack that Seiler was throwing at him, and he was able to avoid all of the bad positions. He was able to keep Seiler on his back for most of the fight, land multiple takedowns. Right there, Seiler was looking for a guillotine, but Rabinov was able to defend on every attack that Seiler threw up at him and just dominate from the top position, land the big shots, get himself the 3 points, and now he's moving into the next round of fights for the featherweights and looking to secure himself that playoff spot.
Well, another new fighter to the PFL was indeed Luis Rafael Laurentino from Brazil. And this was the 23-second finish that we were talking about.
Yeah, I mean, what took him so long, right? He came out and 33 fights. I mean, 33 wins. I'm sorry, 34 fights prior to his win tonight, but lands the jab and the big head kick, stuns Kennedy. Kennedy goes down, follows it up with big hammer fist, and Kennedy's still out of it. He's attacking Yves Levine, and fortunately, Yves Levine trades because he was in trouble with that leg lock. But look at that, beautiful head kick behind the punch, and that's what stunned Jeremy Kennedy. As Kennedy goes down, Kennedy's kind of out of it, but Laurentino jumps on top of him, lands the big punches, gets himself the 6 points when Yves Levine comes in and pushes him off, and he's in a very good position to move into the playoffs coming the second round of fights for the featherweights.
And against a very tough opponent coming into that in Jeremy Kennedy from Canada. And then we had our 10-second finish from Mamedov Khabulaev, also from Dagestan, Russia. And the Dagestanis, I think they won all of the fights this evening, so that's an impressive record for the Dagestanis. But let's talk about, if you can do it quickly, the 10-second finish.
I'm going to try. Okay, so Khabulaev comes out, and he just his opponent Jaden Jackson tries to measure the distance, but Khabulaev, I can never say it, Khabulaev lands the big flying knee from the outside, just times it perfectly, snaps his head back like a Pez dispenser. Just watch. Perfect flying knee, all knee, no thigh. He had the timing down. I asked him how was he going to deal with the taller fighter. He said he knows what to do, and he did exactly what he needed to do in just 10 seconds.
Yeah, what an impressive performance. So here are the featherweight standings. Mamedov Khabulaev stands at the top of the table with those maximum 6 points. 6 points also for Luis Rafael Laurentino with that high kick. And then Andre the Bull Harrison, Lance Palmer, Radzhabov picking up the 3 points for their wins. We see there as well the two Alexanders will contest next time, we believe, but they didn't make weight, so they're at the bottom of the table there with 0 points.
Yeah, you've got to make weight. You make the commitment to step into the cage. You have to make the weight. They didn't get their opportunity to fight tonight and get the points.
Okay, well, moving us on now to the lightweight division, and we start with our returning champion from Brazil, Nathan Schulte. He was on his quest to see if he can get another $1 million and get his hand raised at the end of the year, and he's the champ for the reason, and he got it done in the first round.
Yeah, Nathan Schulte is a man who likes to walk you down. He likes to put pressure on you and stay in your face. Bao Yincang, he's not the kind of guy to back away from that. So what happened when he wouldn't back away? Nathan Schulte changed levels on him, put him on his back, got to the mounted position, and as soon as Bao Yincang gave up his back, the champ was able to sink in that rear naked choke. Look at where he's hiding those hands. That's hard to reach. It's like trying to scratch your own back. It's very hard to defend that choke. He was able to put that in, get himself the 6 points, and he's in great position to have an opportunity to step into the playoffs and repeat this year.
Well, a man that wants to step in there with him very soon, as we know, is Long Island's own Chris Wade. He was watching closely that one, I'm sure. But Chris Wade, with all his hometown fans around him, he got the job done.
Chris Wade did get the job done. I think he came in with a lot of aggression and a lot of anger, and fortunately for him, he was able to turn that anger and calm that anger down and use exactly what he needed to do to win. He affected his wrestling, landed a bunch of takedowns, defended the submissions of the Snake, because the Snake, I mean, the nickname is the Snake because his arms are long limbs, good submission game. Came in here on a 9-fight winning streak, 7 straight submissions, and Chris Wade was able to avoid all of those submissions and getting these takedowns. When he attacks with those double legs, that rear naked choke, that guillotine choke faced him a couple of times, but he got himself in the position, attacked with the rear naked choke, got to the mount, was not able to secure it. His opponent, Nate Andrews, got to his back and attacked him with the rear naked. Wade was able to get out, land on top, finish the fight, and get his hand raised, get himself the 3 points, and he's in a position where he gets a chance now to move into the next set of fights and possibly fight Nathan Schulte in the next round or in the playoffs.
Okay, well, it was Brazil versus Dagestan with Ahmed Aliev versus Carlos Silva, and it was a quick finish again for the Dagestani.
Man, I mean, the Dagestanis really came to play tonight, didn't they? Ahmed Aliev came out and landed this big overhand right. Carlos Silva wanted to get up and fight back, but as he's trying to get up, he plants that hand on the floor to stand back up, and that just gives Aliev another opening to land another big punch and close out the night for Silva. I mean, this is one of the moments of the night, the move of the night, the knockout of the night. Aliev was just performed great with his hands. Like, he's a wrestler, but...
And the second fastest punches of the night with that barrage of punches there. Here are some numbers for us to look at. 25.5 miles per hour for Luis Rafael Laurentino. And you made the point earlier in the show, Yves, that those numbers may not sound like large numbers, but when you think about the short distance at which they're applying that power and then how fast they're reaching those speeds, it's absolutely unbelievable. Imagine being the recipient of that.
Yeah,
I mean, I have no idea.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Neither
I'm telling
do I want
you.
to.
It's like having a soda can thrown at your face from this close. You know what I mean? You can't get that up to speed from that close, but boy, it hits hard.
Okay, well, let's moving on now to another lightweight performer, Islam Mamedov and Djiiroun from France. This was a hard-fought battle between these two men.
Very, very tough fight. Islam Mamedov is definitely a threat. He's the last man to beat the champ, Nathan Schulte. Finished him. But he had some trouble tonight with Djiiroun. Djiiroun was tough in every position, fought back in every position. And although Islam Mamedov won a unanimous decision, he had to fight for this. He had to earn this victory. And when I look at Djiiroun now, I think he's going to be a tough out for everybody in the next round trying to make the playoffs, because he gave a guy who gave the champ his last loss a very, very tough fight, and he's going to be one of the guys. If he gets a chance to get into the playoff, he's a dark horse for sure.
Okay, well, a guy that did get into the final last year and was the runner-up was Rashid Magomedov, and he took on Radzhabov from Tajikistan. So it's Dagestan versus Tajikistan, and this was another tough battle between two warriors.
This was definitely a tough fight, but Rashid Magomedov controlled this fight from the outside with distance and range. I mean, the Tajikistan fighter was a very good wrestler, but he was not able to affect any of his takedowns. I mean, Loic was not able to get Rashid on his back at any point in time. He had his leg up high, but Rashid's balance was just too good. He defended well, and then Rashid was able to take him down. Magomedov was able to get on top, land big shots, control position, but he landed most of his striking from the outside. Good footwork, good range control, and great boxing got him the W tonight.
Absolutely. He'll be looking to go one step further this season. Here are the lightweight standards. Ahmed Aliev with those maximum 6 points. As the reigning champion has Nathan Schulte 6 points also, and then picking up 3 points, Magomedov, Wade, and Mamedov, as well as Ramzi Nijem. We must mention Ramzi Nijem. Actually, he was due to fight tonight, but his opponent was not able to fight for various medical reasons, and so Ramzi got the walkover and he got those 3 points. So, what a night.
Great night to start with the lightweights and featherweights. I love these two weight classes. I can't wait to see the second round of their competition. But I'm also excited for the light heavyweights and the heavyweights in 2 weeks.
Moving over to the big guys, we've got our light heavyweights and our heavyweights for PFL3. That takes place June 6th back here in Long Island. That'll be on ESPN2 and ESPN Plus once again. And we'll be seeing some returning fighters as well as new contestants in the light heavyweight and the heavyweight division. You see it there, Kelvin Tiller and Alex Nicholson from last year, as well as the runner-up to our own Sean O'Connell in Vinny Magalesh, a new fighter in Jordan Johnson. Lots of new fighters to look forward to as we've seen these last few shows. And Eve, light heavyweights, a bit bigger than you. Well, I don't know, you don't walk around at lightweight anymore, but you're looking forward to these?
I'm looking forward to seeing those guys. They are still a bit bigger than me, but I'll change that because I've been talking about eating all night, and I'm gonna go gain about 20 pounds. I'll be a heavyweight soon.
As Lance Palmer was pummeling Alex Gilpin, he was talking about tenderizing ribs consistently. So I think I know what you're going to be eating tonight.
Ribs.
Okay. Well, let this man go and get fed. We've had a great night here from the Nassau Coliseum on Long Island. We saw the fastest finish in PFL history at 10 seconds, followed by a 23-second finish. What a night here for the PFL, and we are back on June the 6th with the light heavyweights and the heavyweights in action. Vinny Magalesh seeing if he can go one step further than last year and clinch a spot and the championships at the end of the year. But from myself, Caroline Pearson, Eve Edwards, here in Long Island, it is a good night, and we'll see you next time.